Welcome to Nintendo Dads, episode 441, recorded on August 24th, 2023. On tonight's episode, we talk about Charles Martinet's retirement, another Nintendo Direct, Nintendo's reputation with third parties, and all your freaking questions, all for dads. Jesse, you know what to do!
That's right, folks. We've got the whole world in our hands. It's Nintendo Dads, episode 441. It's August 24th, 2023. Joining me on the show tonight are, quite honestly, my three best friends. I mean that. Love these guys. Thankful for them. Excited that they're on the show tonight. And we're excited that you're listening, joining us straight from the heartland of America. Nintendo Dads, 8-year Employee of the Year and counting. Jesse Waldack, how you doing, buddy?
They're pretty good. I'm not sure what to think of the energy levels that are quite variable here so far.
He brought it up. I had to bring it back down.
Yeah, and of course, he didn't tell any of us that he was going to do that, so the look on your faces are really awesome. And all I could do is laugh silently.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, a good week?
So that happened. Yeah, good week. Camping this weekend, so that'll be the first time that I've been out camping since my kid was in Cub Scouts. So will be interesting, and especially since with how hot it's been, it's supposed to be nicer on Saturday, so hopefully it stays nicer.
Yep. The heat's so bad here where we are, it's got me out looking for Lieutenant Dan so I can get some ice cream. But speaking of Lieutenant Dan and ice cream, up from the Great White North, where it's probably not blazing hot, hope it's not, joining us on the show once again, Mr. Justin Masson. How are you, sir?
Live from an air-conditioned basement in southern Alberta. It's currently 21 degrees Celsius, the only temperature that actually matters, the only metrics in regards to temperatures.
Can you translate that for us?
No, I don't speak American stupid temperatures, so you can translate that all on your own, all right? You didn't get on board with our system. I'm not doing this for you.
It's about 70.
It's about 70, all right? Yeah.
When it's hot, it makes a lot more sense that it's 70 and not 21 outside.
0 is freezing. Everything above that is hot. Everything with a negative is cold. I don't understand how this is difficult for your country.
20 degrees above 0 is not hot. That would be lukewarm.
It is hot. Oh my gosh.
It's still freezing here.
This is what's wrong. This is like probably the top 3 thing that I think is wrong with your country. Like, if you could just get on our system. And I know, do you remember, speaking of, I've gone on this rant before. I remember, I think we got an email once about this, about someone who was so angry about the Canadian who was advocating for you all to get on the metric system. Do you remember that? Because I did.
You got me saying Zed. So I think that's
Listen,
the most I can
consider. This is a Canadian company. I'm not gonna lie to you, right?
That's
it was
the most I can offer
Canada.
Now.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to tell you. Hey, it's great to be back. I'm excited to be here. We got Nintendo nerdy news that we're going to break down, and I get to hang out with the three of you. So it's fantastic. I'm excited to be here.
I just want to say that the imperial system came first, and then the metric system came and ruined it all.
I don't really care which one came first. Get on the right one.
Well, speaking of the right one,
what is the other country that is still on your system?
It does. There doesn't need.
There's one other country. There's 2 countries in the entire world who's like, no, we're going to be crazy and still stick on this old system.
I didn't even know that. I thought we were.
There's one other one. I've taken it off my travel list. I'm like, I'm never going to go there.
Australia.
Actually, there's 3. The U.S., Liberia, and Myanmar.
Oh, well, good. Sorry, Liberia and Myanmar, that I'm not traveling to see you. Get on, but you change your your system, we'll talk. Until then, you're not getting my passport or my money, you folks. Grrr.
It's okay to be wrong. Tim Off joining us. Mr. Wright, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Doing great. It's been a great week.
Is that
Do
a
you feel
new
better
hat?
after that?
Yes, I was inspired by the Excite 64 trailer, so I had to do
That's
it.
what that was.
Well, the trailer is the only thing that's exciting about that news. So,
come on, I'm excited for it. Come on, but I'm doing good. How are you doing, Marty?
I'm good. I was going to ask, is that a new hat?
This actually, I've had this since my birthday in June. But as I was telling Jesse earlier in the pre-show, it's probably the first time I wore it on a Thursday. So,
do you have a daily hat rotation?
Just whatever I feel like, whatever. Well, not. It has to go with whatever I'm wearing too. So, like I got red in the shirt, so I got to have this.
Tim, gets up in the morning, has a routine, gets dressed, shower, shave, whatever. And then as he's about to leave his room, he presses a button and this wall opens up. And it's just like a hat emporium.
You've just been in my room before.
And if you look at it spatially, it doesn't make sense because the house is a certain size, but it just seems to go on forever. And there's a little butler that stands in the middle and says, "What hat would you like today, sir?"
It's like the Harry Potter
he gets
tent.
up, and he he has to get up on a ladder and spin around and climb up and is "Here you go." And it's a new hat every day.
I have a TARDIS closet.
Yeah.
That's what I have.
So you're saying
it's like Tony Stark's armory with hats.
Yes, that's what I imagine.
You're saying it's the room of hatquirement.
Yes, that too. Yep.
That's what you should call your room now, Tim. The room of hatquirements. It works in so many ways.
I did get new things to be able to hang them up on the wall on my side of the room. So I'll be doing that setup soon.
Okay. I can't wait to see it. And you know what I can't wait to do? I can't wait to talk about some news with you guys this week. So let's dive straight into it, shall we?
Or let's do it. Here we go.
And of course, our news is brought to us each and every week by you guys over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads, as well as our good friends from Manscaped. We'll hear about that later, but you can head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads and join up with the greatest community on the internet. I mean it. And you know what? We're not just on the internet. We're in real life too. And so many people in the community there to brighten your day, have a great chat with, and compete with through monthly mayhem and other things going on. And so you can add yourself to the menagerie of madness over at our Discord for just $1 a month. Or if you're a Twitch Prime or if you're an Amazon Prime member, you have a Twitch Prime subscription. If you'll go and throw that our way monthly over at twitch.tv /Nintendo Dads, you can get access to Discord as well. $1 a month gets you in the door. $5 gets you this full slate of Discord channels. $10 gets you pre and post show audio, and $30 gets you on the show. That's right, Patreon producer. You can make this thing happen. And Tim has a word.
Just listen later under events. It'll be another good reason why you should be in our Discord community. There's so many things going on in our events.
Yep, lots of good stuff. And so head over. The website is patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. And you can pay by the month, or if you pay by the year, you get a month free because we're just nice like that. So yeah, go sign up if you haven't. It's awesome.
Yes.
Well, guys, it's the end of an era. I'm sure that if you're listening to the show, that by now that you've heard that Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario, the man himself, is no longer going to voice characters for Nintendo. That means Mario, Luigi, Wario, Waluigi, Baby Mario, Baby Luigi, and lots of other maybe assorted characters. Charles Martinet will no longer be the voice of those characters. Martinet, of course, is somewhere around, I believe, 68, 69 years old. right? 65, something like that. So he's getting on up there in years, but Martinet is not done with Nintendo. He will assume the role of Mario ambassador, whatever that means. He'll get to continue to travel the world and tell people how great Mario is, which is why I didn't know that was a job. What the crap,
We'll
Nintendo?
take that. We'll take
I could have done that. I can. Tim, you can be the Metroid ambassador.
There we go.
Justin, you could be the Splatoon ambassador. I don't know. Jesse, you could be the Pikmin ambassador. And I guess
I'll take either.
Yeah, you can just be the pick ambassador. You can either way. And I guess I'll just be the Zelda ambassador. I don't know.
That works too.
But anyway, it's confirmed that this week Nintendo also confirmed that Martinet did not do the voice of Mario in Super Mario Wonder. They also confirmed that he is not the voice of Wario in the upcoming WarioWare game for Switch. But his voice will be used in Luigi's Mansion 2 for the Nintendo Switch because guess what? It's just a port and Nintendo is cheap.
So would that mean then what would be his last current work? Would that have been Mario and Rabbids then?
Either Mario,
the movie.
Right. Sorry, I guess I mean in the game format. I apologize.
Mario and Rabbids, or the was there another game before the last WarioWare game? Get It Together.
I think Mario and Rabbids was Mario and Rabbids was last year in October. Was there any other Mario game between there and now that would have released?
I don't think so.
So that was his last one. So let's back up a couple things. So like there's like almost like this gloomness to this. Like, let's be legit. He's not dead, right? So like we don't.
That's the first thing I thought when this announcement came out.
We don't need to be there. But I mean, he is a man. I just checked it out here. He's 67 years old, right? Stepping away from a voice. I mean, all I want to say is just like, thank you, Charles, for all the amazing work that you've done to lend a voice to this character. To like every time we hear, here we go. That's all of like those are all things that we hear. That voice of Mario is because this person. This is not uncommon, right? Like the actor who did Bugs Bunny eventually transitioned out, and they found another person who did Bugs Bunny. Right. Like this is sort of when you have iconic voices, inevitably they stop doing that thing.
But here's the thing is I always wondered though too, why they didn't just record something kind of like James Earl Jones with Darth Vader.
So
like AI
record his voice and then be able to use that throughout the rest of
so there may
Darth
be
Vader's history.
So there may be there may be a part of Charles' contract that says they can't do that.
That's true.
Right? He may that like we don't know the contract, we don't know the agreement.
Yeah, I know this could be a contract. I'm just saying I'm surprised that it had to come to, okay, we've got a new voice. And it wasn't just like we're in an age where it seems like Charles Martinet could be Mario forever, is what I'm saying. Right. But maybe, he could have made the choice to say no.
The other part is that he may have said like I'm done.
Yeah.
Right. Like I think that everyone's like, oh well, Nintendo fired him. I don't like if they did, I don't think he'd still be the Mario ambassador, right? He's obviously still on good terms with the company. But it also
Japanese companies generally don't fire people. They just stop giving them work is what.
Yeah, right. And then the other, well, and I think to stop giving work to the voice of Mario is pretty hard when it's Mario, right?
Right. But
I do think, but I mean, he may have just been like, hey, I need to step away, right? Like he may be at an age where like it's hey, I'd rather spend more time with my family, or by the way, this is more challenging on my vocal cords, right? Like you can listen to actors whose vocal cords diminish over time because of the strain, right? So he may be again 60. So why not begin to try that replacement not because we have to, but rather we have the ability to.
I mean,
right?
look at if you've seen the newest Transformers movie, the Rise of the Beasts movie, Peter Cullen sounds so tired in that movie. And if you go back and listen to like G1 Optimus Prime, like the very first one, and then you listen to now, it is a very noticeable difference. Another noticeable difference was Frank Welker, who did Megatron in Transformers, between the original and his appearance as Galvatron in Age of Extinction. I think that's the one he was in. It's not good. Like, he just can't perform. And I don't know that is the case with Martinet, but I have to believe it's almost like, I've done this for 25 years. How many more times can I say wahoo? And I want to say, I wonder if this even was like kind of I don't want to say it's like him jabbing at Nintendo or whatever, but I wonder if it's like, well, you didn't want me for the movie, and so maybe I'm done. Because if you go and you look at some of the and Jesse will know this person's name, who was the voice. She did Harley Quinn, and she did some My Little Pony stuff.
Tara Strong.
Yeah, I think she just put out, when the Mario trailer first came out and he taught, we heard Mario's voice for the first time, how she was incredibly upset and disappointed for Charles Martinet and how he didn't get this why they didn't use him, and she said something along the lines of, he is also struggling right now.
Sure.
And so I wonder, I mean, I'm not without stirring the pot, I'm just saying, it's a pretty sweet gig to come in and do your recording lines. And it's okay, we need you to do a couple of grunts, a wahoo, a let's a go, and a it's a me Mario. And then you're going to get $50,000, that's a pretty sweet deal to turn around and leave. So it's I look at the causes, age. Maybe he just didn't want to travel as much anymore, but it sounds like he's going to be traveling with the Mario ambassador thing.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was just, I want to go do something else.
Could be, right? It could be. It could, yeah, and it could be. And here's the other part. For those of you who know, Charles Martinet also has an extensive resume of work beyond just Mario. Right. He is well known for Mario. There's no doubt about that. Right. And so
he was the narrator in the Bit Trip Runner game.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff.
I didn't know that he was Mario's dad in the movie until this news broke.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
it was very easy to tell that he was the Donkey Kong guy, playing Donkey Kong,
Yeah.
But the whole tonal shift to the Mario's dad, it was that doesn't sound like Martinet to me. But anyway,
Jesse, are you able to find that clip? I don't know if you saw the chat I found there. I put
yes,
in there.
I have it. I do have it ready.
You do have it ready. Have any of you spent time with Charles Martinet?
I
wish.
Yeah,
I was fortunate enough when Nintendo Dads formed. We started in 2014. I think 2016.
Yeah, this file is dated April 30, 2016.
Okay. He was at the Calgary Expo, which is not too far from me, and so Zach and I both went to the Calgary Expo. And got to meet Charles, spend some time with him, and it is amazing to watch this man. He is just absolute joy. He is absolute energy. He jumps between every single voice in just a couple of seconds, and it's sort of amazing to when you see the voice of something that you so love come out of somebody. And he was just we spent time with him and hung out with him and chatted, and we were just paying our usual fee for an audio file and an autograph, right? And he was so kind. We had said, would you be so kind as to do a bumper for our show, and saying hey, Nintendo Dads is the best podcast. And he's I actually can't do that. And I was that's fair. He's but why don't I do something else? Who's in your show? And I said, it was myself, Zach, and Jesse. And Jesse, can you run this clip?
Super Zach. Hello, Super Jesse. Hello, Super Justin. It's me, Mario. Yahoo! Mamma mia. I'm here with my brother Luigi. Hello, it's me, Luigi. That's right, the Mario Bros. We just wanted to say, you guys, you number one. Woohoo! Number one. See no games is whoopee.
That's fantastic. I forgot about that because I remember listening to the show and you guys talking about that and sharing the picture of, was it you and Zach and
Zach's
his son, right? Yeah.
and standing beside Charles Martinet.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, like, I'm not a big like they're, you know, like you go to these like Comic-Con stuff and there's celebrities. I don't really care much for like, oh, look, it's Robert Downey Jr. I'm like, whatever. You know, there's certain people on that list. Charles Martinet on that list for me. And it was just amazing to spend that time with them. And I put on our put actually in our Discord this week one of our original Nintendo Dads pieces of artwork that was done. I think it was one of our first pieces ever done. He signed, and I have that framed in my like Nintendo area. Such a fantastic person. I hope that this decision was 100% owned by him. I hope that this decision was what he wanted. I hope that it is the best for him. I wish him the best of luck in every single thing that he does. He is a voice of a generation for this game, for video game industry. Name me another voice actor who is so renowned for one role, and the only ones that maybe come to mind is like a Troy Baker, right? And maybe a Nolan North.
But even they have multiple roles.
They have multiple roles, right? Exactly. And I would argue so does Charles Martinet, but it's all in that. It's all in that family-friendly Nintendo ecosystem. Like he just gave voice to all of those things, and so I'm very interested. The other part of the post that came out said that there will be a message later from him and Miyamoto.
Yes.
I'm interested to see where that shows up, right? Is it part of a Nintendo Direct? And it's part of like hey, Mario Wonder is coming up and the father of Mario, the voice of Mario has retired. Let me introduce you to the newest person, right?
Yeah.
Now that being said, Jesse, can I get a one camera? Just a single shot for me? And we'll just clip this out later.
Let me see.
Yep, just give you a second. Let me know when you're ready. Yeah.
Spotlight.
Perfect. Okay. Hey, Nintendo. Charles has stepping away. You might be looking for a new Mario. So here's my audition tape, Nintendo. Hey, it's me. Mario. It's me. Mario. Let's go to a castle. Yay. Click. Here's my Luigi. Hey, Mario. Ah. Click. Here is my Wario. Ah, Mario. Thank you for your time, Nintendo. Call me.
Are you kidding? Now. What the heck? You didn't even do Waluigi.
Yes, he did.
I don't believe in him.
Oh no, that's right. No, he didn't.
How do I get this back?
What the crap, dude? You asked for your own mic. You asked for your own show, basically.
Yeah.
And then you forget freaking Waluigi.
No, I did exactly what Nintendo did. Forgot about him and didn't include him.
I'm not happy.
That's my audition tape.
These are unsafe working conditions.
Tim, are we able to later just clip that out and do like a side by side of like a Mario and my audition, and we can submit that digitally? Can we do that to Nintendo? Is that fine?
Probably.
Yeah, you do. Like we'll just put a Mario beside we'll clip it and be like, here's my audition tape.
We don't have to though, because that was so good. They'll just be like, oh,
I know.
When did Mario arrive?
So here's the deal. Justin, you've already done this, but my newest favorite community member of all time, Mo Spankins.
Nah, see, mine's Beer Cerveza.
Well,
But I do like
okay.
Mo Spankin's name.
Mo Spankins says, I want to hear all your best Charles Martinet Mario impressions and do Toad just because.
Okay, legitimately, here we go.
He
Ready?
wants a legit.
It's me, Mario. Oh no, it's Toad. It's not bad.
Okay.
I mean, here's the problem. My last audition I just did, I just like blew up my vocal range, like with what I gave you before. So this was sort of like my backup stuff.
What was that crap you just did? The first one was better.
Right? I know, right? All right, Jesse, what do you got? Let's hear it.
I'm afraid, but okay. It's me, Mario. Oh, that sounds like crap.
I would give that on a scale of 10, 4. But I love the energy that you brought to it, and I love that you committed to it.
I tried. I gave it an effort.
That was an A for effort, I would say.
No Toad.
No. No, I'm not even going to try.
Okay.
Tim, let's hear you. Jesse's my pick, says Mo Spankins.
Hey, it's me, Mario.
No Toad.
It's me, Luigi. How's that? Is that good?
That's I'm not. I mean,
You
if
know,
I close my eyes,
what's sad? What's sad is that he actually kind of sounded like John Leguizamo there.
right? I think
So technically,
if I closed my eyes, I could imagine that it was Tim doing an impression of Luigi.
yeah.
All right,
And
Marty,
then-
what do you got? Oh, he has to clear his throat.
Hey, yeah, for me, Mario Daddy, coming down the pipe to do some working there, working man coming in to work on your plumbing because the blue collar man know exactly what to do. No, here it is for real.
Okay.
So, because I do this all the time out in public to embarrass my family. You go, what? Whoa, it's me, Mario.
That's pretty good.
I think your equipment muted some of your spikes there.
It did.
so
It spiked somewhere.
It did because I project.
So
You
we
did
didn't
great.
hear all of it well, but
Oh, okay. So hang on.
it's-
Whoa.
there you go.
That's
We
really
heard
good.
that.
That's really
Let's
good.
go.
Here we go. Yeah.
I mean, who else are they going to find to say, let's go, here we go. That's just what I needed. You know.
It is interesting. Like Tim does sort of like make an interesting
Oh,
statement. And again, I
spaghetti.
don't know the
Ravioli.
contract, but like how much of the audios do they already have?
Rigatoni.
Right.
Well,
like I am
okay.
sure the bank that they have for Charles doing Mario is like he doesn't. It's not like I've ever heard Mario be like a long paragraph monologue about capitalism and the meaning of life, right? Like, here we go. Oh no, Princess Peach. Oh, like that's it. Like, you don't, oh my gosh, the socialism's so horrible. Oh, what are we gonna do? I don't know. Right? Like, it doesn't happen.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I think there are
Alas,
definitely
poor Yorick, I knew him well. Oh no.
there are
Horatio.
definitely people who get paid by the word, because a few years ago, I went to a convention or a conference, and they had a guy there just for a couple hours who was at one time the voiceover guy for movie trailers, right? Like any of those, like the Inner World, that's the guy, right? And he told like he came and volunteered his time, and he would like record voicemails. So he's on my voicemail for my phone. Like, I'll let you hear it sometime, but it's awesome. Get people tell me all the time. It's like, where did you get that? So the guy offered to do it, but he talked about how he had a per word contract with Disney.
Yep.
That like he was paid so much per word to say. So I would imagine that maybe that's Martinet had that, like you record these words.
Voice actor contracts are actually sort of interesting. And as like I've dabbled a little bit in voice acting. And when I get asked like, what is my rate? Right. There are rates that you can do flat, or you can do per word, or you can do like, if you If you do some research, there is a lot of like, what is your per rate on words?
I've heard of some that are per line. I've heard of some that's for a 4-hour block. Yep. So you know, it ranges. It does range.
This is why I don't talk as much, because I don't want to have you guys spend as much money.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Those of us who talk a lot on the show, you know, we've not negotiated a good rate. Contract.
We did, exactly.
Yeah.
But either way, like, man, I just I'm so interested in a couple things. So glad that he continues to be the Nintendo ambassador. Kind of really hoping he's actually at Nintendo Live.
I think that's a good.
I think that's probably a pretty good possibility. Because that would be awesome. Love that he's still doing that. I just wish him absolute best. That's all.
I agree.
I want to back up a bit about the AI thing. Someone else mentioned it in the chat. I hope they don't AI him, because, you know, especially in the voice actor community, it is a big bad thing right now. You kind of, if a company says they're doing AI voices, that company gets blacklisted by many talent. And like, even like, there was a story of some college kid who just made a 10-minute stop motion video with Scooby-Doo and Five Nights crossover, and he had some of his characters with AI, and a lot of big names dished him for it. I'm like, this kid has no money. What are you expecting? I don't blame him for doing it. I would blame Nintendo for doing it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So you want to know what my prediction is?
Sure.
That his video with Miyamoto is also announcing Miyamoto's retirement.
Oh. Also possible. I think he's even older than Martinet.
So you have the Mario and the father of Mario riding off into the sunset together.
Both fathers, if you think about it.
So, I'm not wishing that. I'm just saying I think that may be what happens.
You're so upset, Tim. He left the call.
He just quits.
He was like,
done.
I'm out. I am not dealing with this shit. To be honest, Marty, like, that sort of makes sense.
It does make sense.
Right. And I hate to admit when you may be right, and it hurts my heart so much. But that is actually pretty logical, right? It's
like Mario Wonder is a literal passing of the torch to the next generation.
Yeah. Beer Cerveza.
I broke Justin.
It says, in the voice of Mario.
In the voice of Mario, let's see if I can try here. Beer Cerveza. It's a BS.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out.
Maybe. Yeah. But I want to go back to something you said. Do you think that this video could be part of a Nintendo Direct? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I do think it could be part of a Nintendo Direct.
You mean part of the September Nintendo Direct?
That's going to premiere at Nintendo Live?
Segue. It's not going to premiere at Nintendo Live.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. It's not. It is not going to premiere. Are you nuts? Are you crazy, my man?
Why would they not?
Because it's a 4-day event.
It's a 4-day event.
Not everyone will be there at the same time.
The only way that it's possible, is I do know that they are doing a pre-show stream on the Friday, because before the event. Here's the thing. Are we segueing to the Nintendo Direct conversations, or no, we have other news, right? Let's do other news because we're having a chat later about that.
Yeah, sure. We'll talk about Nintendo Directs later. Speaking of Mario Wonder, though, a week after Mario Wonder's website indicated no online functionality, it's now been updated to show that there are details of online play, which will be announced at a later date. The mode will be called Charles Martinet, Mario Ambassador, Travel Through the World. No, it won't. I don't know what the online play will be, but it's going to be.
Well, it could be as small as, here's a leaderboard for times,
That sounds pretty Nintendo-esque.
There's your online functionality, and they're going to find some way of screwing that up because they're Nintendo.
Yep. Also, just a couple of little other little news blurbs here. Denuvo anti-piracy tech is now available for Nintendo Switch developers. I have no clue what that means, but it's there.
Yeah, I can talk about it a little bit. I think I typed it. It's just Denuvo. They have done anti-piracy for other games, say like Resident Evil 8 and whatnot. And the games that use their tech tend to sometimes take a hit frame rate wise. And while it probably does help for anti-piracy initially, the hackers and the pirates who know what they're doing normally have that even was broken within a week, maybe a month. And then people find out that, playing the cracked version of the game is a better performance. I wonder why. And then the software developer will remove the Denuvo technology from their game, and wow, the game runs much better for everybody now. So ultimately, it's a pain in the butt for the legitimate game buyer, and it is not much of a deterrent to the pirate. You're muted.
You're muted, Marty.
Still muted.
In the end, now I can talk. In the end, it's just a waste of money and time for everybody involved.
Right. So, but so they announced that their tech will be available to be integrated into the Switch software development kit to supposedly put a stop to people dumping the ROM and playing it on emulators. And I see this thing getting overwritten in 2 weeks once it's implemented. Once the people who make homebrew and crack these things know how it works, it's not going to take them long to solve it. So again, this is just going to be a detriment to the actual consumer. They haven't announced which games yet will use it, if any, but something to keep an eye on.
Interesting. Also, our friends over at the Screen Nerds podcast shared that Mario is back at over 1,000 domestic screens this weekend. Actually, it's about 1,451 to be exact, probably to try to reclaim its crown from Barbie, which recently became the highest grossing domestic film of the year. It's weird.
Frozen did something similar last month. I don't know if Frozen repassed Mario or not, but if they did, this is a chance for them to repass Frozen.
Yeah, this is just a very weird, out of the blue type thing. Why
it was?
There's
I'm trying
been
to
no
remember,
announcements, nothing like that.
It was announced on something. I heard it earlier this week. I just don't remember what it was on. I don't know. Maybe it was something mentioned with the Keeley show. I don't remember.
It was on the Screen Nerds podcast. They talked about it.
Well, they had to have gotten to they got it sourced from somewhere. There was a source. I saw it in a video. I just don't remember what the source was.
Okay, it was our uncle who works at Nintendo.
Right.
Also, a couple of game release updates that we want to talk about. Excite Bike 64 will be out on the Nintendo Switch expansion pack next week, August 30th. So you can go and satisfy all of your 64-bit dirt bike riding extreme.
Yeah, don't try to update the app today because it's not going to work.
Yeah, I don't.
Someone found out the hard way.
It's me. Why did they not just drop the game? Oh my gosh. It doesn't make any sense. Here's an announcement for a game that's coming out next week. It could be out today, but why? Why? Because Nintendo. Also, in one of the dumbest release date blunders in recent memory, Sonic Superstars is going to release on October 17th, 3 days ahead of Super Mario Wonder. Sega, you idiots. What are you doing? This is the best looking Sonic game in years, and you are sending it out to die.
They haven't had a good Mario versus Sonic in a long time. So, why not?
Stupid.
That is also the same day as Spider-Man, I believe.
Stupid.
The 20th, I apologize.
Stupid.
Right.
Mario versus Sonic versus Spider-Man.
It sounds like something that like happens
Triple
at a kid's
threat match.
like in a kid's playroom.
Yeah, right.
And then for some weird reason, Sonic
I'll root
wins.
for Yuri Lowenthal
Yeah.
because we don't know who's voicing Mario yet, so we can't root for him.
It'll be me. I don't know. SteamWorld Build also now has a confirmed release date of December 1st. Tim, I know you're excited about that one, and that is going to be on PC and Switch on December 1st.
Yes.
And then Persona 3 Reload is not coming to the Switch. It'll be out everywhere else February 2nd, 2024. Hooray.
Yeah, I added it to the notes just because I'm still interested in it, and the fact that it's going to be on Game Pass means I don't have to buy it.
Well, there you go. You can play Persona 3 right now on Switch. It's just not the good version.
Speaking of Game Pass, that SteamWorld Build is on day one on Game Pass as well.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that. Sorry. Good catch.
It's okay.
Well, that's our news. Let's take a break. Whoa.
Sorry, I didn't have this. You're right. I didn't add these into the doc because I was just grabbing it real fast. But there are some other announcements as well that came out of Gamescom this week. I don't know if you guys noticed, our inbox has been super, super busy this week because obviously it is Gamescom, and there are some Nintendo games that actually got announced at Gamescom. Games coming to the Nintendo Switch. So I'm going to quickly run over them just for your people to be aware of. And some of them are out now, or some of them are coming soon, but to add to our list as well. Blasphemy 2 came out today. AX Exonal comes out on September 14th. Bloomtown, A Different Story, is Q2 2024. Last Faith is November 2023. It's a Wrap, August 31st, 2023.
Is that a mummy game?
Phantom Spark is to be announced. Super Adventure Hand is 2003. After Dream is September 28th. Glem is Q4 2023. Warframe had a big update. Wild Country is to be TBA'd. Raven's Watch 2004. Symphony 2024, I apologize. Dome King Cabbage to be announced as well. So a lot of games, although Nintendo were not there from a presence perspective in regard, like they had games on the floor, by the way, that people were trying out. And I know that our good friend in the chat, I know he's in there right now, Beer Cerveza is heading over to Gamescom as well, if he hasn't already gone.
Oh, cool.
But Nintendo was showing off Star Oceans R. They were also showing off Sonic, and I don't remember what else. So they did have content there, but nothing first party from Nintendo to reveal as well. But again, lots of games being announced for the Nintendo Switch that are padding out our 2023 and 2024 lineup as well.
And that's our news. So let's stop for a quick ad break from our good friends at Manscaped.
Tim, do you want to do this or do you want me to do this? Did you pull it up or what's going on, bud?
No, I'm trying to stay alive here.
That's okay. Not a problem. Well, I've got you covered. I wasn't too sure what the plan was. You've been in and out.
Powerless right now?
That's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, support of Nintendo Dads is brought to you by Manscaped. The Premier League is back in action, so it's only right we partner with the premier men's grooming company, Manscaped, a class above the rest. Manscaped is now focused on their off-ball movement with the Beard Hedge Pro Kit. Manscaped is known for their elite ball skills, but with the Beard Hedge Pro Kit, they're helping people notice that pretty little face too. So whether you're Leon Messi down south or just focused on looking sharp like Ronaldo, you can get the best men's grooming packages at manscaped.com and get that 20% off and free delivery when you use our promo code at checkout, NINDADS, NINDADS, again, for 20% off and free shipping. Thanks again for Manscaped for their continued support of Nintendo Dads. Back to you, Marty.
All right, that sound means it's time for us to have a quick discussion, or maybe just a discussion, because we don't ever really do anything quick around here on the show. But we wanted to throw this question out and talk about this. Nintendo's last direct, because it's coming up on September, and everybody knows Nintendo typically drops a direct in September at some point.
Just for reference point, Nintendo has had a Nintendo Direct in September every single September since 2016.
That's why I said what I said.
I know, but I know people be like, well, have they really? No, legitimately they have.
Yep. So with that being said, Nintendo's last direct was regarded as one of their best. It was as one of their very best. So the question is, Justin, since you've kind of already cleared this up, but let's talk about it a little bit. Will Nintendo have another direct in September? And let's talk around this just a little bit. Will it be disappointing because of how good the last one was? And let's spice it up a little bit with this. What do you think we'll see at this direct?
So maybe
we'll just tell you what we think. We think you'll see at this direct.
Yeah.
So the first one is, will Nintendo have another direct in September? You've already answered.
Yeah,
that.
I believe they will. The pattern would indicate there. It's interesting. They sort of actually, like, a lot of people are like, you can't really predict Nintendo's movement. You really can't, but actually you can. There are some places where Nintendo is kind of very much does their thing. September is definitely, and again, there are times where people are like, oh, there's a January direct, there's a February direct. It used to be a January direct, it's kind of moved to a February direct, and sometimes there's no direct at all, give or take, right? But September for them is like that one definitely happens. So I would be very, very shocked if this doesn't happen. Why do I think this is happening? Right? Or what do we believe maybe is there? What Nintendo does is Nintendo gives us a 3-month roadmap, 3-4 month, give or take, roadmap of what you should be looking forward to. They have set us up for success in regards to Mario Wonder, Mario RPG, and have given us a little bit of a peek into 2024, right? With Luigi's Mansion 2 and with the Princess Peach title, Princess Peach game starring Princess Peach, right? But if you think about it, after November, when we have Detective Pikachu and Mario RPG, we don't know what Nintendo has on the docket. Nintendo sort of needs to always be telling their audience what's the next thing, what's the next hit, what's the next thing you're looking forward to. So September is a very logical time for them to do this. It also allows for us to allows for them to remind us of their upcoming October and November games, right? Because it's put them on Christmas lists, put them on wish lists, whatever it is, so that it gets in sort of our pocket. So the question is will, I think your next question was will it be as good as the last one? I always go into every Nintendo Direct like high hopes, completely low expectations, because I think you really can't measure one Nintendo Direct to another Nintendo Direct, because it is all based on the games that are in that and whether those are games that are interesting to you, right? So your reaction so it's very, very difficult. What do I anticipate that Nintendo may have? Well, there's a couple rumors that have been speculating for a while, right? We have heard this rumored speculation of a Zelda game. Jeff Grubb has commented on this. Is this the Twilight Princess that has rumored forever? Is it Wind Waker HD that has been rumored forever? Is it a 2-pack that has been rumored forever? Is it a different Zelda
2 remake?
Zelda 2 remake, all completely different. Is it the Legend of Zelda expansion pass that we're sort of expecting, right? So that could be there. We've obviously also heard the rumors of Metroid Prime 2 and 3 remastered. So that's sitting out there kind of in the ether, kind of spitballing around as well. We've also seen Nintendo recently, or not recently, but sort of this generation, also looking to the back catalog and saying what was on, whether it was the Wii U or the GameCube, that we can bring over, or the 3DS, via Luigi's Mansion 2. So they have a lot of things that they can look at. Now, I think for them, they need to kind of keep the engine going. They need to keep the train on the tracks, because we don't know what the Switch 2 is. Do I anticipate it will be revealed there? No, I don't. If they're doing it a single different event completely. What do I think or speculate that we could see at this Direct in September? One of the first games that comes to mind, and I have been saying this from the very beginning, is Hi-Fi Rush. I suspect that will be announced this year, and I suspect it will be coming probably announced in the September Direct. Why do I say this? Because the last several years, Microsoft has had a hit game or indie game early on in the year, Death's Door, Tunic, and then about 6 months later, it ends up showing up on a Nintendo platform. Why? Because they like money, right? And they want to monetize and all of those things. You possibly could see a first look at a COD coming to Nintendo Switch. That's a possibility. What versioning it is, how it works, all of that, not 100% sure, but that's a possibility. We also have rumors of a Donkey Kong game that's been sitting out there for a while as well. We also have the other thing I would say in that packet, what is happening with Metroid Prime 4. And I would also say we have another Mario track coming before the end of this year. So there are a lot of question marks that Nintendo has kind of spattered around. They potentially, all of those like rumors could completely be vaporware and nothing actually exists, right? So we also have to give it that credence. But there are a couple of things I think Nintendo could end up doing. So I mean, I think that's sort of my spin around it. But I'd love to hear what everyone else thinks or challenge me that I'm right or wrong, or what do you think?
So I love the thing about Metroid Prime 2 and 3. I think that's probably a given considering the reception of Metroid Prime Remastered, right? I think that's more than likely going to happen. I do want to push back, though, on I really believe that there is some special reason that Nintendo is doing Nintendo Live. And I've said, and I'll be glad to be wrong about it, but I mean, I try to be hopefully optimistic that this is where they finally say publicly, I don't think it's not going to be in anybody's hand. It's not going to be in a case. It might just be an image on a screen or just an acknowledgement of Switch 2, whatever it is coming. And you'll know more about it in 2024.
May I, Jesse Waldak, may I share my screen, sir?
Don't have rights.
I don't know if I have rights, but I'm asking. Yes, I am.
You should. Go ahead.
This is directly from the Nintendo Live event page, FAQ. Will there be new product announcements? This is a question they have obviously been asked several times. No such announcements are planned. Nintendo Live is a first and foremost an in-person celebration of Nintendo fun for all families. Now, here's the thing. They're not going to say here, we intend on announcing the new Nintendo Switch right here, right? So you could be right, Marty. But I think what I have observed from all of their kind of documentation and the way they position it, again, the fact that it is a 4-day event and not, if it was a single day event, then I would give you more credence. I would say possibly, but because it is a 4-day event every single time, and there's a schedule for it, I don't think so. I'd love for me to be wrong. I'd love for you to be right. As much as that kills me, I just don't think it's going to be there.
Well,
but
I see your website and I raise you. I see your website announcement of nothing, and I raise you no new consoles this year. Oh, by the way, here's the Nintendo Switch Lite.
Sure, that's fair.
So I'm just saying that just
3DS
because
XL, they're going to do the same thing.
Just because they say it's so on a website doesn't mean. All I'm saying is that doesn't have to be an announcement. It could be an acknowledgement of yes, it is happening. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying that to be safe. I'm saying that I think that's all we'll get if we get anything. It's going to be like the Mario peeling back the curtain. Here's our current family of products and Nintendo NX in the PowerPoint. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I really believe that when Nintendo's ready for it, they are holding their own special event. It will be
and they still can.
Yeah, like it will be October tune in that kind of messaging.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it still can, but I'm thinking just like get out ahead of it and say, hey, it's coming. Like we know there's like it's time.
And
anyway,
my statement is they are not announcing this thing before Christmas.
Okay.
No way.
Perfect. That's fine.
Nintendo says that they'll announce a DK Picross game.
I need to see. Do I believe there's going to be a direct? Absolutely. What do I think is going to be a part of it? I need to see what the November game is. Like, there's that big Black Friday.
Called Mario RPG. That's their November game.
Is it?
Yeah, it's November 17th. It's literally the Black Friday spot. That's the game they put there.
Okay. I don't think that's enough.
Probably, I probably would have put Wonder there. If I'm being honest, I would have swapped the two.
I would have swapped the two because here's the deal: is that Mario RPG is great, and don't hear me saying that that's not going to be a fantastic game. I am hyped for Mario RPG, but that is not the game that you put in that spot.
I would agree with you. I think that they should have been more apt to probably put Wonder there. However,
the fact that they did tells us that they don't have anything else.
Well, the other part I would say is that they have if you think of where they put Odyssey, when Odyssey came out was the end of October also. It may be one of those things where they're more apt to say, let's get on the shelves long before the holiday rush. I feel listen, here's the deal.
Build the hype train.
Wonder is going to be their whole, let's stop for a second. All right. Just for 1 second here. Between October 20th and November 17th, Nintendo releases Mario Wonder, Detective Pikachu, and Mario RPG. They are not going to be hurting for Christmas sales. I can reassure you that, right? They are going to do very, very well. You want to guess the combo that's probably going under kids' trees? Mario Wonder and Detective Pikachu. If that was a double pack, they are making bank.
I thought you were going to say that what's going under kids' trees version, a Mark II Switch and Mario Kart 8.
Yeah, no, well, that too is going to happen, right? They are going to be just fine.
And look, while I agree with you, here's what I do see for the industry this Christmas this is going to be the first Christmas in a while that Switch is not the pack leader for sales because PlayStation has the momentum and the games and Spider-Man going into the holiday season. And so that's going to go gangbusters.
This is the 7th holiday season. There's a saturation point coming around somewhere.
Yeah. And I'm not I don't think that Nintendo's lineup here at the end of the year is bad at all. I think it's fantastically better than their first half. There just wasn't a lot for me. I know that there's a lot of people who were excited about the first of the year. There just wasn't a lot that I was excited about. I love this lineup. I'm finally going to play Detective Pikachu. Mario Wonder, Mario RPG are day one instant buys. I'm going to lose time and sleep to those games. That's fine. But I also think that this segues really well with the next topic that we have right here, which is it says this is what I'm just going to read it from our doc. More and more, it appears the development of newer games from third-party devs are not coming to Nintendo Switch. Even some indies are having trouble bringing their games to the Switch because of its age. Should Nintendo be concerned about its reputation with third-party devs and how the gaming community and its customers perceive this relationship, or is it just a concern to those of us who follow this really closely and have concern? But of note, as we ask this question, there are 130 million plus Switches out there, right? We know that. That's sales figures. So the question, I guess, really is, are third-party devs reluctant to work on Switch, but do they end up having to because there's money there? What do you Justin? I would love to hear you talk about what do you think that means going into the holiday season if third parties are starting to dry up?
If they're reluctant, I mean, there is a cost benefit analysis, right, regarding the time, energy, and work, and whether they get out of it what they put into it, right? Let's just, for a great example of it, let's use Red Dead Redemption, just came out on the Nintendo Switch, as a case study, right? We don't have hard numbers, right? But someone had to make the business case to Rockstar that them putting time, energy, and effort into developing or porting Red Dead would cover at least the costs of the time, energy, and man hours to do that, and in theory make money. Right? Those are the two equilibriums. And even if you're like, oh, they sourced it out to a porting house like Panic Button, that costs money too. Right? So there has to be a business case for it. And so when you begin to see companies or third parties make that decision, again, there's a business decision around that. So yes, there's an install base, 130 million, right? But can we develop? And the other part of this is sort of that gap, right? Because Xbox and PlayStation are newer systems, right? Their hardware is newer. They're pushing more things. Where am I making the time and energy to do this? And is my return worth it? Right? Like that's the question that has to be asked. So I don't blame third parties. They are literally developing and building on a platform that is 6 years old. I don't blame them, right? It's back in
2017, the hardware was already dated
at that point, right? So I don't blame them. And then the other part of it, they're like, do we spend our time and energy now because the other part of it, their heads aren't in the sand. They also have to recognize there is a new platform coming. So do I start my time, energy in developing this game for the core Switch or the current Switch? And then 6 months from now, I have to, hopefully my engine is scalable. And the platform allows for it to be able to easily move. But I also recognize that's a time and energy sink as well. So all of those things come into play. I don't blame third parties. There's sort of this like hot button time of a platform, which is like Switch came out in 2017 to 2020 is probably really your like majority hot sales. That totally logically makes sense. There are still games coming. There are still games being ported, but we are seeing companies who are obviously looking at their back catalog and saying, can we make money? And I'm looking at Rockstar for Red Dead. I'm looking at, is it Warner Brothers for the Arkham collection? I'm looking at Konami, or I think it's Konami, who's doing the Metal Gear collection. Right, we're seeing a lot of these collections because there's an opportunity for an install base. Yes, the floor will pass to Mr. Timothy Alf.
So, in regards to third parties, data is king a lot of times in a lot of companies, right? I wonder if Nintendo has data on us, their customers, that they share with third parties to say, here's your audience. And that those numbers could potentially tell other companies, yes, answers the questions you brought up, Justin, about will this pay for itself when we bring it, like Red Dead Redemption. We have an audience. I'd like to think there's an audience of, your 18 to 33 or 40, men, mostly. Obviously, I know there's a lot of women who play on the Switch too, but there's going to be that data there. There's going to be that data that says there's going to be that age group or people that like to play games but may not have another console. All they have is a Nintendo console because they're family oriented. And so
and then there are us that are outside of every demographic.
Right. I know that. But I mean, that's what I mean is maybe they have some data that points to the fact that, yes, you may be able to sell 10 million copies of your game because there's a demographic of people who don't have another console to play your game on or didn't own that console back when it was on that other console. So yeah, bring it to the Switch.
And they know what games they previously bought, which could be an indicator of will this person buy this game.
They bought these other, collections or whatever. So they
may not use it well in the store, but they've got that data.
Yes.
Well, they're collecting it from our consoles, right? Because they're seeing what we're playing.
and signing up for, NSO and signing up for online stuff. There's got to be that data that we don't know about, obviously, that plays to what you were saying. Is it worth us bringing our game over? I would like to think there is.
And you got the developers that are focusing on, I want this thing to push an Xbox Series X. I want this thing to push a PS5. So look at Baldur's Gate 3. The Xbox Series S is getting a gimped version because it can't handle their game.
Yeah.
So there's no chance in hell that it's going to run on a Switch, no matter how many dials they tweak down.
The cloud could be coming to cloud, but we haven't seen much of the cloud either.
I was actually going to say that's a really good call out, Tim. We haven't seen a lot of call out for the cloud recently from Nintendo's strategy. We were seeing them kind of hot and heavy for a little bit there, but this year it's been pretty quiet. I don't know if we could I do a quick Google search here of like how many.
It's got to be that data.
Yeah, people aren't buying.
Yeah. I mean,
Right?
we see it in our own community. Like people, like, oh, great, another cloud game. It doesn't work for me. Or even like Marty, 1 of 4 people here can't get online for the cloud. So, but the majority of our community is about physical carts. And we get upset when it says you're going to download something from that cart instead of having the full game on there.
Well, yeah. How many of us got upset when what was it? I think recently, Arkham was announced that like only one game is on cart and 2 are on download, right?
Yeah,
like
of course, the smallest one is on cart.
Yeah, of course it is, right? Like logically makes sense.
Yeah, like Asylum, I think is like a 10-hour game, where City is like 30 and Night is probably 40 to 50.
Off on a little tangent here. I think that also, I would hope Nintendo does something about that, where instead of, on the next iteration of their console or cartridge, that it's a little bit more price. I know they need to make money, but make it so that they can put bigger games on the carts. I know they can now with the Switch, but they're not because it's too expensive. So what can they do to make it not so expensive? I don't know, but who knows? Sorry, that was a little tangent there.
Yeah.
No, you're fine.
No, that's all of those are good thoughts.
Yeah. P.S. Tim, the chat is loving just how polite you are and how nice. Chris is saying you are the polite one. Mo Spankins, he raises his hand. Mo, again, there's a tornado outside his house and he's still patiently respectful towards the other ones.
Yeah, I just looked at the radar.
Tim is the best of us, all right?
I just looked at the radar in Detroit and it's colorful.
Yeah, Tim, if you have to leave, it's okay.
Do you need to go to your special place?
I wanted to stay here because to talk about this. I don't care if the back half of this room disappears. I'm still going to be talking about this stuff.
Do you need listen? Go listen to the weatherman.
No,
go to your safe space. Cover your head with a pillow.
I've been informed by our reporters out there, on the scene that everything is good. So
okay, we're just concerned about you. And moreover, what we're really concerned about is the condition of that Nintendo Dad's championship belt behind you that Justin has not received.
Locked. It's locked up in a safe.
Justin has still not received from his victory. So, yeah.
I am being fiscally responsible in regards to the fact that I don't think it's going to be staying in Canada for a year because I think Tim might have beaten me in my predictions.
He may have.
We'll find out after September show. But before we go, I did want to go back to the initial question because I wanted to mention a couple things that I thought may come up in the direct. And I don't know if Jesse had anything either, but
we just skipped right over you guys. I'm sorry.
One is that December slot, right? There's nothing coming in December. And typically, if I remember correctly, it's something like a Fire Emblem.
Shut your mouth.
So there's still the rumor of a remake Fire Emblem game coming out. We might get an announcement for.
You mean the one that I predicted last year that didn't happen?
Yes. That one, yes.
Do we have to?
So it's possible
did we not get enough
game.
Fire Emblem this year?
Well, we already have Persona 5 Tactica coming out. We need a Fire Emblem.
We got a Fire Emblem at the beginning of the year. We need one at the end of the year now. So
did we get one at the beginning of the year?
We did.
Yeah, one of my favorites, Engage, was awesome. So, but anyways, and then a little off the cuff guess, because you guys had some really good predictions of what it is. So I'm going to go off the rails here with my last prediction, and that is a little bit off the rails. So September is also when Nintendo usually, but it's kind of gone a little bit differently. I think last year they usually talk about NSO, right? What they're trying to do to keep people on paying for their subscriptions, right?
But you did hear they announced Excite Bike today, right? Like, I mean, I think that's enough.
Of course,
isn't it?
yes. No, but I'm saying that there could be more to NSO potentially that they'll announce here. And I'm just going to go off on a limb and say everybody else has a partnership with other companies to bring their content over. If you pay a little extra on NSO, maybe you get some of the classic titles through Ubisoft or EA. You know, since they already have online presence and they're involved with others' online stores, maybe there's something there, because EA has come around to saying we made a mistake on the Switch.
But not a big enough mistake to get NHL 94 on the Switch yet. Am I right, Chris? Am I right? Huh?
NSO possibly. On the ice, NSO.
Tim, I like that, but I think that we're way more likely to see them add TurboGrafx 16 before they add another company's
Very
game.
True. Very true. Or if they could even go as crazy as, say, another Sega console, like Dreamcast. I mean,
think about all of those games that were on the Wii and Wii U Virtual Console that are not over like systems like Neo Geo and TurboGrafx that at one time they had a right to in some way.
Yeah. And there's possible they could do that. And even like I said, there's been a lot of rumbling. In fact, Sega announced that, or talked about, we were thinking about doing a Dreamcast Mini, but it was too much money. So because they know people want a Dreamcast and how much of a cult following.
And they want the working little component that goes in the controller too.
Yes.
That's your expense.
Right, that is. But you never know. Maybe Sega will unleash more of their consoles on an NSO or whatever. So depending on what they work out with
I would
Nintendo.
honestly love for them to do a Dreamcast Mini. I think that would be really cool. But
they said it would be $300 for that thing. If
actually, what I would rather see than that is for the Sega Genesis app to add Sega CD games.
Granted, but and again, off on a tangent, you know how Atari just announced their 2600 console that will play new games, but also all the previous games. I've been yelling at Nintendo to do the same things for years. Why not recreate the console, bring out the old consoles again and sell them? But what if Sega did the same thing and, you know, with all their older systems? So I know they've already kind of done that with their Genesis, where you could play the old games on them and stuff like that. But what if they recreated that? But anyways, again, tangent. My guess was maybe a Fire Emblem game, and again, maybe some more to NSO. Maybe not so much other companies like Ubisoft or EA, but more to NSO, since that's usually when Nintendo does something in September around there.
Yeah. That's great predictions. Jesse, what do you have?
Yeah, I don't have anything specific, but I think this is basically going to be the last hurrah for Switch. Anything new, if it is anything we haven't heard of yet, we'll hear about it, because they're going to start talking Switch successor next year.
Absolutely.
Maybe that's why they're going all out on everything, and we'll get our minds blown at this one too.
Will it be as good as the last one? No, I don't think it will, but I don't think it'll be that bad either.
Well, I mean, if it's looking like what you said, last hurrah, maybe they are just unleashing everything, you know, like this is going to be the last year. We're going to make it a blowout. So you're going to get your DK or something like that.
They could announce 30 things. I will, on average, I will like 3 of them. So if they,
well, that's better. That's better than just one.
Right. So yeah, because, you know, I am me.
And I agree with BB that we should be getting a Chrono Trigger remake to a 2D HD remake. That would
why
be
we're
so
getting
awesome.
Sea of Stars in like less than a week.
True. Very true.
Still not Chrono Trigger. Let's talk about some events. Tim, why don't you tell us what's going on over in the world of Nintendo Dad's events?
Of course. Of course, everybody's used to hearing me talk about Discord events such as the table that happens every third Friday of the month at 10 p.m. Eastern. The community gets together at the table, otherwise known as our Discord voice chat room, to discuss whatever is on everyone's mind. Want to join in? Subscribe to us via Patreon or Twitch, get access to Discord, and join in on a schwack load of events like the table, monthly mayhem, and now even retro rewind. But you don't have to be part of our Discord for that. And I'll get to that in a moment. Dad's After Dark events that they have coming up as well. Coming soon will be another monthly mayhem announcement, so stay tuned to them for that. September, submit an Apple review and be eligible for one of two $10 eShop codes for the Dad's After Dark show. October, they're having the third annual Halloween mayhem. And again, to be part of these mayhems, you got to be in our Discord. November is a monthly mayhem announcement. December is their second annual Presents After Dark Secret Santa that they do, which is a lot of fun. A lot of crazy stuff happening on there. January is going to reintroduce the second or round 2 of Chubby's Bracket. So if you got fat over the holidays, you can participate in this program to lose some weight.
And also, if you want to just get fat over the holidays just to participate, like this is preparing you, right? So this is getting you ready for December, putting on some weight. Like you can just tell your family, hey, I'm going to join this thing, so I'm going to eat more.
Yes.
Just get ready.
Or if you've just been fat all of the holidays, you can join in finally after you've just had enough.
If you don't feel like holidays is a special time to be fat, you can be fat year round. Listen, I hear you. I see you. All of you.
Yes.
All of you.
So this is the way to get healthy that the group does, and it went well last round, and they're planning on doing it again this round to help everybody think about being healthy again, especially in January. Next up, we have Retro Rewind, and this is something I've been neglecting to update everybody on in the events that Retro
Shame.
The retro community does. So a Retro Logic group, they do that. John over there on Topic Retro does Retro Rewind. And yes, that's the Retro Rewind the Nintendo Dad used to do, but Retro Logic has taken it over for us on all this retro talk. Jeez.
That word is hard.
It is hard. So this month, going up to September 18th, they're playing Metroid Fusion. And luckily for us, it's on NSO, so you can participate. You submit your fastest completion time by 9/18 to win a $10 eShop card of your choice. Of your choice. So it doesn't have to be on Nintendo. It could be PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, or Nintendo. Want to share your memories and experiences of this game with the world? You can join RetroLogic StatFast John for an episode of On Topic Retro to be recorded on September 19th. You can DM DatFast for more details. And again, you can be part of the RetroLogic Discord to get all the news and stuff like that, especially if you're more of a retro gamer. This is the place to be. And don't forget, we still have the Summer Games Show going on, the Nintendo Live 2023 and PAX West show from Friday, September 1st through Monday, September 4th that Justin was talking about and will be attending.
Yeah. So let's, let me share some insight about what's going on here, folks. So next week, I am, let me share with you my schedule, right? So if you want to follow us on what's going on next Thursday. I was like, what day? Next Thursday, bright and early, myself, my wife, and my 2 children will be flying down to Seattle from Calgary, arriving around 11 a.m. on Thursday morning. So we're going to putt away around Seattle, hang out, do a little bit of tourist stuff. And actually Thursday night, I'm going to try and book myself some time with Mr. Adam Leonard of Mega Dads, because he's staying in the same hotel as I am. Probably go out for some adult beverages and maybe some artisanal sandwiches. We'll see what happens there. And then bright and early on Friday, I am heading over September 1st over to PAX West. And my schedule will be, I'm getting there, I think around 10 o'clock is when the doors open. Might be an hour early for media. I will be going to the Reggie Fils-Aimé keynote. That's at 11 to 12. And then I'll be exploring the rest of the floor for about 6 hours all over the PAX West floor. I tried not to actually book any appointments so I can kind of freely go from place to place. And see some stuff that I want to see because my time is limited. And then at 6 o'clock, I'll be heading down, leaving the show floor and heading down to The Mix, which is the indie collection. And they are doing a show there, and the press are getting in a little bit early as well. And we're doing about 4 or 5 hours there at the Mix event where we see a lot of indies showcasing a lot of hands-on experience. So I suspect a lot more kind of intimate and direct experience there, which will be fantastic. That's on Friday. Tons of posts that will be coming out from that. So do take a look, watch our social media on X is probably where it'll a lot go. I'll post some stuff on our Facebook page later. You can also follow me. And then on Saturday morning, I'll be heading over to the Nintendo Live event at 10 o'clock, bright and early. Myself and my daughters will be there for at least half the day. Lots of photo booth opportunities, lots of stuff going on there that we're going to be experiencing. And then at about midday Saturday, I'm taking my Nintendo Dad's hat off and spend the rest of the time with my family so we can explore Seattle together on our own vacation. So there'll be about 2 days, or day and a half of pretty intense coverage from us. If you're going to PAX West, if you're going to the Nintendo Live event, seriously, our DMs are open. Drop me a DM. I know our good friends Andre Seeger from Game Explain's going. I intend on connecting with him. Rogers Base is going. I'm going to try and connect with him as well. Lots of other content creators that are friends I'm going to try and connect with as well, just to say hi, spend some time together. So if you're going, and if you're not a content creator, but you just like our content and you like seeing us and you see me, I'll be wearing the Nintendo Dads t-shirt. Please stop by. I'd love to say hi. Love to see you face to face. Just shake hands, high fives, or if you don't want to do that, that's cool too. And wave from a distance. But man, I'm excited to be there. I also want to give a
bow.
Yes, respectful bow. I also just want to give like a huge thank you to our Nintendo Dads community. These events occur because of your support, right? You listen to Manscaped ads, you support us on Patreon, it's Twitch subs, it's watching our views. That allows for us to financially to be able to do these events and for me to travel to a different country and to be able to do this. And so I am really grateful. This is such a blessing for us and able to roll that up together with my family and get to spend some time with them in that as well. So thank you. I cannot express it. So next week I will not be on the show. Next week we have a special guest though, Tim, right? Who do we have? Casey, that's right. Casey's going to be here next week.
I was not prepared for that question. I had to hurry up and get to my calendar. Yes, that's okay. Casey. Casey is going to be our guest host. So, which is really cool. Casey from Underpowered is going to be on with us next week. So,
yeah, that'll be fantastic. So he'll be sitting in the spot. We'll all be traveling and getting down there. So, yeah, excited for it. And then obviously the week after, I'll be back on the show with my experiences, my firsthand experience with the Nintendo Switch 2. We'll be here as well.
I'm glad to see that you are a believer now, Justin.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Ninfrendo, please be safe. He says, ladies and gentlemen, I need to go batten down the hatches. Ninfrendo, please be safe.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
My kids are holding down the fort right now.
That is
they're all blowing in the wind and stuff like that. But that's why I'm still here. No, I'm kidding.
Bad weather sucks. But you know what doesn't suck? Jesse's Minute.
Beautiful.
I did find a better quality audio than what I was using. I like that one better. So I had something prepared, but before I get to that, this is literally breaking news. I saw, because I have my Twitter notifications on the Nintendo Japanese account. Whenever they tweet it, I get a pop-up. And they have a Super Mario Brothers Baskin Robbins crossover event going on in Japan starting on the 1st.
I want ice cream.
Yeah.
We'll probably see Mario ice cream. See that tweet tomorrow, probably. Hopefully
we get something too. But I just saw that and had to share it. So yeah,
ice cream. It's in a Dan. Ice cream.
So Tim already kind of dropped the message a bit about the Atari 2600 Plus was announced on Tuesday. It's basically a smaller version of the original 2600. It does not have native 2600 hardware. I don't remember what's inside, but it is emulation based. But as a result, it can also play 7800 games, and it has widescreen support, which I presume that means you can choose between it being stretching or not. I hope that's what it means, because I prefer it not to be stretched.
Nice.
And it will have HDMI out, so it can be plugged in the modern monitors.
Very
So
cool.
of course, I picked it. I did a pre-order because why wouldn't I
A glutton
order
for punishment?
that too? But why wouldn't I order an obscure piece of retro hardware? So the base kit is for 130 US, which comes with the game, one controller, and a 10-in-1 cartridge of classic Atari games. I don't even remember them off the top of my head, but I did list them in our Discord. Like Haunted House is one of them. And probably most of the games are probably on the Atari 50 game that Tim's showing. Then on top of that, I ordered a second controller. I ordered the paddle pack, which comes with a dual set of paddles.
Yeah.
And which comes with a 4-in-1 game pack. It's like Video
Breakout.
Olympics, Breakout, and two other games. I think one of them is a car racing game. I don't remember the other ones. And then there was an updated version of Berserk that I ordered. So
you're gonna white glove unbox this when you get it?
I don't know if I'll white glove it, but I will plan on doing an unboxing and play of when it comes in, like I did with the VCS back in 2020. Yeah, so my order was 2020. Yeah, and so much for Amico, right?
What was that word you just said?
I don't remember.
Amiibo?
No.
Is that what you said?
So I spent about a little over $200 on my Atari order. So then, of course, I had to go to eBay and place bids on some games that I now want, because I will have something to play them on. And the first one surprisingly came in already. I've never seen an eBay order go through and ship so fast that I got this 2 days later.
Wow. They were ready to get rid of that thing.
Apparently. So I got Pitfall 2 in, which, it is on the list. They have a compatibility list because of simulation. A few games are failing their tests. Most of them are passing, and there's a handful of games marked as untested. This is actually on the untested list, which kind of surprises me. I figured this would be one they'd want to test. So I hope this works. We'll find out when it does. Because that's my favorite Atari 2600 game. And then so I put in like another across 4 bids. I dropped another $180 on what will be 35 games. One of which is a 30-game bundle, one's a 3-game bundle, and then 2 one-offs. So if you look at it that way, that's just a little more than $5 a game, which is not bad. So I think I am not going to get ET. Thanks for asking. I don't think ET is in the 30-game bundle, but if it is, then I'll have it. There might be
borrow my copy.
There might be a duplication. I think because I think in the 30 set and the 3 set both had Miss Pac-Man for 7800. So I think I'm getting that duped. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to this. I showed my kids old 2600 games through emulation before, but now I can actually show them, actually playing on real hardware. That's supposed to be announced in November. Supposed to be released in November.
I love this idea, and I think it's really good for them to go all in on this, so that people can continue to enjoy these games. Why do other companies not do this? I mean, you feel like that maybe is like a gold mine.
That's what I was saying, right?
Right. And again,
I've been saying that for years for Nintendo. Just remake your consoles
with a cheap processor and emulation. like the NES Classic, but actually have a cartridge slot in there.
Yes. Like, and that's what we were hoping for. Like, if they were going to do a Game Boy Mini, it doesn't even have to be a mini. It could just be a Game Boy that has pre-built games in it, but has the slot for you to play your Game Boy games on. Why not?
Yep.
Because I don't know. I mean, like, it's just it's like the idea is right there, right?
Right.
Like it's kind of like how with Oreos, the idea is right there. 2 slots of cookies, 1 tray of just the filling. And you call it Oreo DIY. Do it yourself.
Fantastic.
If you want double stuff, go for it. If you want mega
If you
stuff,
want
go for it.
If you want 1 Oreo that's just 1 cookie, all the filling, and another cookie on top, hey, bud, it's your world. We're just living in it, right? I mean, I've actually emailed this idea into Oreo. They replied with, "Stop emailing us. We don't know who you are. We don't care. Thank you for buying our cookies, but we don't like you. We don't need your ideas. We're making millions on." Now, you know what the new thing is out right now? Pumpkin spice Oreos.
Oh, of course. It's that time. It's that time of the year.
But, anyway, that's not my minute this week. But Jesse, I'm jazzed for you in the Atari 2600. I think it's like a really cool thing. Tim, do you have a minute this week?
I do. It's actually something that I thought was really cool because I didn't think I was going to be able to get one, but there was a sale. And I'm not trying to make you jealous, Marty.
I know what this is. I just realized what this is because you put it in the notes, and I'm insanely jealous.
I don't know what this is.
So it's an Anker Power Bank that they came out with. Was it the beginning of the year? But I don't have the actual power bank. I got the box. It is the Transformers power bank that it's a really cool power bank because you can plug it into the wall and leave it there and use it as and for your outlet. What do you call those things? The brick. You can use it just like a brick and plug your phone into it. I plugged my Switch into it, keep it charged, and all that. But when you unplug it, it acts as a power bank, and then of course you can charge your items with that. But it's not just any power bank; it's got Optimus Prime on it. So, and it's freaking sweet. So
I actually true, like honesty time. I almost bought one of these, but I have a RAV power bank that is double the milliamp size of this. And so I was like, whereas this thing is insanely cool, I just cannot justify the price for another power bank. Like I'm not ready to give up my power bank. 10,000.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the same as the one I got with the Switch. You remember this Anker Switch ones they came out with? There was 2 sizes, 10 milliamp and 25.
My power bank is 72,000. So
right, yeah, that one you got is way bigger.
The one I've got 24,600 or 24,500. So I just can't justify it. However,
like I said, it was on sale. That's why
if they ever make a bigger one, totally
on it. Yep,
I'm in. They also, I just noticed they have a USB-C charger that has 2 USB-Cs and USB-A. Yep. And one of them is it's an IQ port too, and it's $60, but it's got Optimus Prime on it too. That might be in my Amazon cart.
it just jumped in there, huh?
Yeah, it just happened.
How'd that happen?
I don't know. It just showed up. They sponsored us.
Oh my God, I fell. I fell on the enter button.
It just jumped into our cart, Luigi. I can't help it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Justin, do you have a minute this week? Do you have anything that you're jazzed about that's not Nintendo related?
Sort of ish. I had a really interesting experience, and sort of this is maybe not the place we'll have the conversation because I can't think of anywhere else to have the conversation.
That's what the segment's about.
Right. Yeah. WrestleQuest came out this week.
Mhm.
Right. And I was like super excited for it. As a matter of fact, it's one of my games in my fantasy league, right, that I picked. And then so I had a challenge with this game. So let me just explain my mental roller coaster with this, and then I want y'all to like help me understand. So I was super excited when it was going to come out at the beginning of August because I thought like, oh, I have space to play this before Sea of Stars. Gets delayed, gets kicked down like a week before Sea of Stars. I'm like, oh man, I think I can just pick this game up. And then like the reviews started coming in, and the reviews were not great on the game and kind of mixed. So I was like, man. And very rarely do I kind of like let reviews really dictate or move my decision on a game. I'm usually like, I'll still give it a shot. This one, I was like, well, I don't, and I knew that I'd see the stars coming up. And I was like really focused on, I'm trying to be a little less sampler, right? Game sampler, and a little bit more really sitting in the pocket and really finishing games and really enjoying them. And so then I was like, I noticed when it was released that it was also available on the Netflix gaming app. And I was like, well, that's free. And I have that. Awesome. So I downloaded it on the Netflix app. So it's on my phone. I was like, this is
going to say, if you have a compatible device, like Tim does not.
I was like, this is going to be great. I'm excited to play it on my Backbone.
We're going to talk about that later.
And so I went and I got the Backbone and I plugged it in. And it didn't work.
I know where this is going.
Not compatible. And then I'm like, okay. So then I did some research. Okay, so they actually have to put in a patch to make it compatible with Backbone. Okay, because I read some stuff later. That's fine. Then I'm like, I could download on my iPad, and then I could like Bluetooth sync a controller, right? That should work. I didn't do that, but I figured it wasn't going to work. And I don't really want to play it touchscreen. So then I'm like, should I just pay for it on the Nintendo Switch? I'm like, but why? Like, it was almost like this weird, like FOMO, but then I wasn't missing out, that I don't really know what I'm missing out on. And then it was sort of like completely against my sort of current decision right now to savor games as opposed to sample games. But then I was also like, but I am supporting it on the league, the fantasy league. So shouldn't I pay for it? Like, I was like all over the place to a point of like, just like analysis paralysis, and have done nothing of this. And
have you seen what the score was in the league?
No, what is it?
It scored a 69, so you lost a point.
God, son of a biscuit box.
But you have Tears of the Kingdom, so you still have over.
I know, but everything else I'm screwed on because I got locked on 2 other games, so I'm not going to win this thing. So yeah, I was such a weird emotional journey with WrestleQuest. Over this week, and having not actually, like, I played a grand total of about 3 minutes of it using touchscreen on my iPhone, and I just got annoyed by it. And I was like, this is not how I want to do this. This is not enjoyable. And I can't get mad at the game. I can't get mad at them. So that's been my journey.
This is exactly you. Okay. So you totally just encapsulated my entire feeling about Final Fantasy 1 when it came out on the iPhone or iOS App Store and had 0 controller support, which it still has no controller support. When there is a controller as good as the Backbone for your mobile device, why in the world would you not develop games to take advantage of that? I don't understand it. If your game is controller, if they feature it on the Backbone app, that's a whole nother thing to get eyes on your game. Why would you not do that? I do think that WrestleQuest is going to have that controller support eventually, like you said, with a patch. At least they're talking about that. Square Enix, like every review, like every other review on Final Fantasy on the App Store would be great with controller support, would score it better if it had controller support over and over and over and over again. But here's the deal. I'm super jazzed about this game. I'll talk about it when we get to what we've been playing. This is not a game I want to play on my phone.
Yeah. The other really interesting part of it was sort of the emotional journey that we all go through, I think, as gamers, which is the fear of missing out. And then also the like, am I doing a disservice to the content? And so that was something that I think that like, because how often, new games come out, you're downloading something new almost every single week. I think especially in the positioning that we are, where we have new content, codes drop every single week for us to pick at something, that you begin to like not appreciate or really dive into anything. And I know that we've had like the joke before that I'm kind of like the game sampler. And yet like this year I've kind of made this like sort of like conscious, like, hey, I'm going to really just try to, instead of sample, spend my energy in the things I want to spend my energy in. And so like this year I've made some really conscientious decisions in regards to like what I am picking up, what codes I'm redeeming as they come in, and where I'm spending that time. And so it was interesting because I was like, I should pick up WrestleQuest. I'm excited. I do think there's a lot of good things in it. Looks great, little like all this stuff. But then I'm like, Sea of Stars comes next week. And my hype level for Sea of Stars, it is my second most hyped game for 2023 going into the year. Number 1 was Tears of the Kingdom. 2 was Sea of Stars.
No, I have Sea of Stars in my league, so that'll be
right. Yeah, you jerk. Goes. You were the one that took that one. But like, so I knew that the moment that Sea of Stars is coming, I'm dropping whatever's in my docket. Right. And so then I'm like, I'm not benefiting I'm not really getting value out of WrestleQuest. I'm just saying I have it and I'm coming back to it. And I look and like there's just like self-realization of like my backlog is stupid. We all have stupid backlogs. Oh my gosh. I am like, oh, there's a game and that I've really interested in. I put it on a wish list and I've hit purchase and I haven't even like turned it on. Right. And it was funny because Star Citizen, I picked up that a while ago because it was on sale because I heard a lot of good things about it last year. And I was like, cool, haven't even played it. And I saw press release today, Star Citizen 2 is like coming. I was like, oh, I should get that. And I was like, why? What are you doing to yourself? Like, why? What are you doing? But it was just this weird kind of like fear of missing out, self-realization, how we consume content, all of these really interesting things bundled in this WrestleQuest moment that then sort of like that came to fruition on this like Netflix moment that I was like, oh, I can just do this and it's great. And then the disposableness of it. And then I was like, it doesn't work the way I want it to. And I'm angry about it. That's been my journey. Tim, it feels like you have something you want to contribute to this.
No, I'm intrigued. I'm taking it all in because we are going to be talking about WrestleQuest and the mobile experience later because we have a question that came up on that.
Okay. All right. All right. I digress.
More breaking news from Japan. Spirit Fair is going to be on their trial.
Interesting. Oh, nice. So we got a new trial coming up. Do they all?
I don't know if we are. No, okay. Normally not.
Okay. I know they're not always the same game, but I didn't know if we get games at the same time. Okay. Yeah, the WrestleQuest on mobile is an interesting experience, especially on Android. I don't know how well it came over on iPhone, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, since we're talking about games, how about we talk about what we've been playing?
Okay.
Justin, you've already been kind of letting us in on this. So what else?
So very simply, in my quest of staying in one channel, right, staying with one game, trying to finish it off effectively, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I have finished Pikmin 4. So it took me about a month, but I have finished it, put in just shy of 35 to 40 hours. And if you're asking, like, well, what does finish it mean? Because maybe you're a Pikmin person. I had this conversation with Jesse. I have all the collectibles. I have saved all the people. I have done all of the main quest things that we are supposed to do. I have done all of the main quest, clear, check mark. And the side quests, I've done a good portion of them. There is this kind of after game of like, there's another secret cave that you can go into for Dandori challenges. And I said, nope, I'm done. We're done here. I have done everything else from a story perspective that I feel valued in. And it's great. And I loved it. But I did sort of feel, I know, Jesse, you've talked about it a little bit, like, it's just a game that kept giving you more and more and more. And every time you thought you were done, no, you're not done. Like, you just kept going. Like the post game. And this is sort of my question. I know, Jesse, I put it in our chat a while ago. I was like, okay, and spoiler alert for those of you who are like, I'm playing Pikmin 4 and I don't want to talk about it. We're going to talk spoilers here. All right. The game's been out for 4 weeks. We're going to talk spoilers here. not over depth, but if you're like, I'm super in it, you don't want to talk about it, don't talk about it, go on mute. Spoilers start in 3, 2, 1. Okay, after like you leave the leave for the first time, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. It's like 18 hours in, you're good. And then they're like, what? But wait, we forgot something. There's more. And you come back. Why? Why even have that? Like, it's the weirdest, stupidest break in a game that you then because then you're like, the post game is literally longer than the original game.
And then you got a game within a game. You basically have a mini version of Pikmin 1 now open to you.
Yeah, then you're going to, the whole Olimar component of it, you're like, it never ends. It never ends. Like we've all sat in a movie, you're like, and we're not wrapping it up. Oh, there's another act. Okay. Oh, no, we're still going. Okay, that's interesting. That is Pikmin 4, to the point where at the very end, they're like, oh, there's another spot for you to go to. No. We're done. I have rescued everybody. We've got everything. You and your Dandori challenges can just go away. I am done with you. I am out. Thank you,
Justin,
Olimar. I've had a great time
there's
on
still
Pikmin
more.
4.
No, there's still more.
No.
There's just a little bit. It won't hurt you. It'll be okay. You'll be okay.
So it's like the people who keep calling you about your car's extended warranty.
Yeah.
This is the game equivalent of your car's extended warranty.
My wife's getting new ones about a car she's never owned.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I was just so here's my summary. I very much loved Pikmin 4. Such a great game. Had a great time. Happy to be done with it, but man, is it good. It is so good. I'm so happy with it. And so now after
did you beat the Olimar? Did you beat the Olimar stuff on your first try?
Yeah, I did actually.
I needed 2 tries for it.
Did you?
So I kind of saw both of the endings, both of which ends up with a reason why he leafified.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, I'm not doing this again. I am dedicating to make sure that I get these things solved. So as I mentioned before, I'm preparing for this idea of Sea of Stars coming out next week. So excited. I really wish those codes came in earlier. I know, Marty, you talked about Kickstarter. There's a whole rant there. I'm going to say I think you're wrong in your statement, but we can talk about it on a post show. But man, do I wish that we had got earlier access to play it, because I'm so excited. So what I'm doing, here's what I'm doing. Tears of the Kingdom is my in-between games game. So to this week, I went back and I've been doing some more Tears of the Kingdom. And it had basically been a month since I had done anything. And so I'm opening up more and more parts of the map, because I'm basically like, hey, listen, I've got 5 days until Sea of Stars goes, and then I'm going to jump into Sea of Stars. And when Sea of Stars is done, I'm going to come out for a breather, and I'm going to do some more Tears of the Kingdom and then jump into the next game. So that's sort of the wave I'm riding. I'm trying to like really space out things, really enjoy games a little bit more. Yeah, that's sort of it. Hambone Johnny, Justin beat Pikmin and bought a hat. I like the new Justin. Hey, this hat's old. Hambone, this hat has been on the show many a times. This hat is from Splatoon, the original Splatoon, I think, actually, way back when. So, but yeah, thank you. And yeah, Sea of Stars.
Like when you went to the Nintendo store for the first time, right?
Yeah, like when did we go? 2014. No, my wife got this for me when she went to New York with her friend. So it was 2016. So yeah, this was the original Splatoon hat. Yeah. So first time seeing that hat. Thank you. Yeah. During the Critic. Yeah, I mean, I wear it maybe once every 9 months. I've got an Apex Legends one back there as well.
To be honest, it's probably the first time he saw you on the show.
That could also be it.
He only really wears it when he's cosplaying as Ash Ketchum, which he's doing tonight.
The real reality was I just didn't do my hair. And so I didn't do my hair today. I went golfing. It was all super sweaty. And then I was wearing another hat, and it started to get like a red rash around my head. I'm sure, Tim, you know what that's like. Oh my God, it's a wild Tim with wild hair appears.
Tim has a actual head underneath the hat.
Yep, exactly. And so then I pulled this one off the wall. But yeah, Dora and the Critic. True that this is the first time you've seen that. Fair enough. Yeah, like I don't wear it very often here. But yeah, thank you for liking the hat. I appreciate it. I do. You can see the Splatoon colors underneath it. That's kind of cool. I do like it. It's a nice trucker hat. So thank you.
Yeah, it's good.
He goes, put the hats back on. Just kidding.
That's fair.
Jesse, what have you been playing?
Okay, I want to start with, I rolled credits on Final Fantasy IV, and I forgot how much of a pain the final boss is. Not just the actual fight itself, but it's essentially almost a 5-minute unskippable cutscene before the fight. And this game does have autosaves, so I am autosaved right at the entry of the door. If it wasn't for that, like if I was playing it on the original hardware, I'd have to go from the last save point, which is like through like 5 screens of running away from every battle just to get to the door to start the 5-minute cutscene. So I ended up, I think I lost 3 times. So I sat through that scene 4 times. So it's about 20 minutes burned right there. And then I was literally down to just Cecil. And I'm like, everyone's down. I can't heal anymore. All I can do is go slash, and hope. And I knocked him out with only Cecil left. And like 2 more rounds, I would have died. And I would have had to start that all over again. So I'm kind of glad that's over. So after rolling credits on that, I went to WrestleQuest. And if you've seen my comments on Discord, I didn't get into detail because I wanted to talk about it on the show. I am less than excited than the others 2 here are. I think I'm maybe a half hour in, but I've had to do it over 3 sessions. Like I couldn't play more than 10 or 15 minutes at a time before I had to put it down. The game itself, the gameplay itself is fun, though I'm not a fan, as Marty predicted, I'm not a fan of the real-time key presses you have to do, because I think in 3 fights, I think I have an 18% hit rate because I keep on hitting the wrong button or miss a button altogether. Anyway, and the graphics are beautiful, like 32-bit pixels graphics, like something you would have seen on the Neo Geo back in the day. So what I'd have issues with is many little nitpicky things about the UX, but they all add up to a point where I really can't play it. So like the first thing, I think the text is too small. I think the text could be a bit bigger. The second thing is something I see a lot on like visual novels, where like you'll see the character profile along with the text, and then they might have some sort of short little dialogue to help you to remember who is talking. Optimally, you want what is said to at least match the first 2 or 3 words of the text. Doesn't always do it. But as long as it's short, that's fine. This game can go on for 10 seconds talking that has nothing to do with what's really being said on the screen. And And when that same person then talks again 10 seconds later, it's another 5 or 10 second rant of nothing important. That is like the biggest thing that really bothered me. But beautiful game, but it's just so many visual and audio minor little things that just all add up to. I'm having it's really hard for me to play it.
Yeah, I'll hop in and talk about this because I'm playing it too. I'm about 3.5 hours in. I just beat the first boss that you get to, and I'm enjoying it. But I'm with Jesse. Like there's some things about it that just kind of break the experience. Number one for me, and I noticed myself getting really frustrated with this, is that when you level up your characters, it says that they're getting like WR and AR and HP, which HP you can kind of figure out, right? But like they don't explain any of what AR and WR and blah, 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 blah is. Even if you go into your character's stats, like you have to dig to find this information, which AR turns out to be armor rating and WR is weapon rating. So your weapon has a rating that levels up along with your strength, along with your character's core components and stuff like that. The other thing that is an issue for me is that the map system is atrocious. It just shows like a gray square. There's some points of interest, and as you go in that direction, they get closer. There are maps that you can find occasionally, but they're not great. The voices do get a little bit annoying after a while. But my biggest gripe with the game is that it takes like 45 minutes for you to really get rolling. Like from the very beginning, like there's a tutorial, and then there's in like the first 5 to 10 minutes, and then there's 30 minutes of exposition after that with no battling, no nothing. All you're doing is running back and forth basically on a glorified fetch quest. And eventually when the game does get rolling, it's really good. But Jesse's right. There's every attack, almost every action that you do has a timed button press with it. And they're not the same. Like, at least on Mario and Luigi games, like those RPGs, you would know if you were using Mario, it's always going to be an A button, right? Or if you're using Luigi, right, it's always going to be a B button. Well, depending on there's no character that's set to those buttons. So like if you're using your character, the main character is the Muchacho Man, who's like a Mexican wrestler who's obsessed with the Macho Man Randy Savage.
I want to be a muchacho man. Muchacho man.
So if you're, that's my favorite. If you're using him like with an attack, you might have to press the Y button, or the X button, or the B button, or the A button.
And then, of course, after playing on an Xbox, every time X shows up, I push Y. Oh, I'm wrong. Every time Y shows up, I push X. So I'm wrong.
For me, I've got to stick to one system on this. But all that said, I think the positives greatly outweigh the negatives. This is obviously a game where the creators are fans of the product. They're fans of wrestling. They get it. There's tons of little dialogue bits and things that are insider language for wrestling fans. There's all kinds of references and little, I guess, Easter eggs and callbacks. There's actual real wrestlers who just show up in the game at random points. And the story's kind of interesting. It's all set in a toy world. So your character is a toy. So it's like Toy Story meets pro wrestling meets a JRPG. So I recommend it, but know that there are some things, and I think it just comes from, this is a company who doesn't make a lot of RPGs. So they like put all this stuff in, and they didn't really think about like, oh, I need to have a ton of explanation here, or we need to do a little more tutorial, or there needs to be a little more action at the beginning of the game to make it a little more fun. That just my 2 cents.
Yeah.
But I still think it's worth picking up.
So yeah, my suggestions, which would make it a better experience for me, is make the text a little bit bigger, voice act properly, or don't voice act at all. Yep. I'm okay with reading text, that's fine, but don't have it such a mismatch of what you're speaking and what I'm supposed to be reading, because I literally have to sit there for 10 seconds, wait for the talking to stop before I can start reading, because my brain says I don't know what I'm reading.
It's the same criticism that was leveled at Tears of the Kingdom earlier, this summer. Like, if you're going to pay people to come in and do voices, it doesn't just have to be, whenever anybody's saying something and there's a line of text behind it.
Anyway, so hopefully some of that gets cleaned up in a patch, but I don't, if it does patch, let me know and I'll give it another try. But right now, I don't think it's a game I can play. So I went to Final Fantasy VI and started that. I'm only like 20-30 minutes in, so no big surprises there. But the last, so that'll be my travel game, going to the campsite, coming home from the campsite, and maybe some, at the campsite before going to sleep. I don't know yet, depending if there's other plans I don't know about. But the last game I wanted to talk about was it was an event that happened during the Dads After Dark live stream this weekend. They did the quiz mode. They made 3 custom quizzes in Everybody Went to Switch, and each quiz had 10 questions, and each question had 2 options. I don't know if that's canned or if it is more flexible. I'm not sure, but all 3 of them are: is this a game on Switch, or is this a non-kid friendly movie? And and so the way the in-game rules work is you get a point if you get it right, you get 0 if you get it wrong or don't answer. It does keep track of how fast you answer it, but it only really it treats it as the tiebreaker. So like in the first 10 questions, I had 7 points and someone else had 7 points. I forget who. So the way John and Drew handled it for their prize was put our names in a hat and drew it. I didn't win. I'm okay with that. But the game said I won because I was faster. Again, so then the second they did a second set of quizzes, another 10 questions. I got 6 out of 7. Someone else got 7 out of 7, so they won the prize. The third one, I also got 7 points, along with the sister of one of the other guests they had. She went by the handle of Angel, and they were about to draw names for that one too. And I'm like, no, I already own the game. Don't just give it to Angel. So, and again, because of time, the game had me winning. So I technically won 2 out of 3 of these quizzes and didn't win any prizes. And then I forget who said it, but someone goes, "You guys realize he reads the game release list every week, right?" and that's why I was able to do so well. And then someone else says, "Or he watches a lot of movies." I replied in the chat, "Well, why not both?"
Right.
So yeah, I ended up. That was Bob Cousy's quiz. So yeah, I got 20 out of 30 right in that quiz. It was fun.
Of course, that was Bob's.
Ambo Johnny says Jesse sure knows his movies.
Yes.
So in the second one, I was actually 5 of the 5 in the first half, and I got 1 out of 5 in the back half. So like some of the I forget which 2 it was. There was 2 of them where I said there was a game. I was right, and I was the only one who was right out of like 12 people playing.
That's funny.
Yeah, and some of the examples that I do remember that were Meg's Monster and Floppy Nights. I'm like, yeah, I played those games. That's a game.
Yes. You're muted, Marty.
Yeah, we hope so. We hope so that it's a game. Tim, what have you been playing?
I played The Legend of Zelda during our Friday night NSO we did last Friday before the dinner table. In case everybody's wondering what the heck is Friday night NSO, that is something that where myself, Chris HL, and Spider Shan get together and we do hand a controller over type thing and just let the person play. In this case, it was Legend of Zelda, the original game, while the other 2 people just chit chat. And of course, we're chatting with the person playing, or either helping them out or talking about the game's history, just having a good old time and just trying out some of the games. It was mainly Legend of Zelda because we only had a little limited time before dinner table, but other times we try out, multiplayer games. Like the time we did it last month, we try to do at least once a month. Last month we did Mario Party on N64. I think it was whatever one that was there. And that was a lot of fun. And we tried out a couple other things. So at least once a month, we try to do the Friday night NSO. And
those are streamed and
those are streamed,
put on YouTube.
Yes. So you can go and find those replays of those streams on YouTube. So if you're interested, go check those out. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, in that same thing kind of Jesse was talking about with the Dads After Dark show's Extra Life event. They did Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and I got to play the first the practice rounds because that's what I had time to play before I had to leave. That was a lot of fun. I didn't get last, so I'm happy. Red Dead Redemption I've been playing. I do have a first look of that. Actually, yeah, first look stream replay that you can go see on our channel. I was streaming it because I knew there's a lot of people interested in seeing how this game would play on the Nintendo Switch. That's where I played it. And thanks to Rockstar, they gave us a code, which was really nice of them. So I appreciate that. And because I was just going to put this on my Christmas list. So, and the dads knew I wanted it. So I got to have it and tried it out. And
I got you, boo. I got you.
It plays very well on the Nintendo Switch, both in handheld and docked. It is.
I hope so. It's a PS3 game.
Yes, it's plays very well. I'm enjoying my time with it. I am taking a break from it to play another game, and I'll talk about in a minute. But it is an open world game. It's supposed to take about 25 hours, if I remember, 26 hours to complete. So I'm hoping to jump back into it after I'm done with Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, which is the other game I'm playing, which we also got a code from.
I got you, boo.
From the developers for that one. And so I played that one, and I've been sucked into that one. This is kind of like, I know what Jet Set Radio is, but I didn't play it. So I don't know how close to this game it is, the Jet Set Radio game. But Bomb Rush Cyberpunk is basically you are a character who does graffiti, and your goal is to basically ultimately you join this team to try to become All City, which is basically take over the different boroughs in this overall arching world. There's 5 boroughs, and you have to take over.
That's not New York, probably.
You have to take over.
Why would I think that?
Borough.
It's Amsterdam, isn't it?
I don't think it's Amsterdam.
I thought it was Amsterdam.
Maybe it is. I didn't pay attention, I guess, to that part of it. It was just I thought it was some made up city. Maybe it was New Amsterdam. Maybe some. But anyways, you do have to take over 5 boroughs, and I've taken 2 out of the 5 so far. But how you take it is you do tricks on either a skateboard is what you start off with, or you can use a bike, or you can use rollerblades. So you're using your character to do these tricks, but you also have to tag things throughout the borough with graffiti. And you get certain amount of points with that as well. But also in this story is your character loses his head. Yes, I said loses his head, gets chopped off, but they save his life by putting a robot head on his body. So the robot is using the body to do these things to try to find out where, because he wants to know about this person in their head and wants to get that head back for this body. It's very, very crazy story.
So
in your head, zombie, zombie.
So he didn't leave when he was ahead?
Save that one for the dad joke question later. So yes, it is a very unique game, but I love the combination of things, including the music, which is a lot of hip hop inspired, house music, techno music, probably more techno-ish. Being in Detroit, combination of those things, I love those type of things between house and techno, and hip hop. So this soundtrack is absolutely wonderful. I love it, and I think you can listen to it out on. They don't have a playlist on Spotify, but I think they said that you can go listen to it in other areas. But Bomb Rush Cyberpunk is what I've been playing, and again, that's got a hold of me, and that's what I've been playing there. And then on deck, game I think came out today is Dawn of the Monsters Arcade Edition. It is a game that came out already previously last year, but they have this new arcade plus character DLC pack that came out today, which updates the game. It's basically you are again giant monsters. What was it? Kaiju. Battling in cities, but this is a different take than the other game I was playing, where it's more side scrolling than I think it was 2.5 kind of angle or whatever in the other game. So Badana Monsters is on deck for me to try out, and I'm going to do a first look of that coming up either in the next few days.
I played the original version, did a video for it, and it's okay. What my biggest sticking point with it is that it's very sluggish. Like it feels very not unresponsive because but just it's very slow pacing. I guess
Gotcha.
is like I wanted it to feel like when I think very arcadey, feel like I feel like Final Fight or X-Men, that beat 'em up. Which why has that game never been why is that not on Switch? Like a 6-player, like they did a revival of it on Xbox Live Arcade way back when. And Simpsons too. I would love to have those games on Switch. I know it's licensing and all that, but who cares? Just pay money.
They'll figure it out. They always figure out licensing.
Pay money so I can pay you money.
Yes.
So I've been playing a few games. I've already talked about WrestleQuest. Another game that I played that I did not like, I'm going to go ahead and talk about this one, is Die After Sunset, which I have a video for right now on our channel. It's basically Fortnite roguelike. You get dropped on this island where these cute little alien monsters have taken over, but they're really not cute. And you have from sunrise to sunset, which is about 7 minutes or so, to scour the island, do quests, and level up, like pick up weapons and stuff to prepare for this alien boss that's coming at the end of the timer. The controls are not good. And it did not perform well on the Switch. And it may be maybe those two were working together. I would love to see what it was like on maybe the PS5, which feels like it was made for. But it just didn't grab me. It probably comes across in the playthrough that I did on that video, but you can go check it out if that sounds like something you would like. I also picked up Marble It Up Ultra, which is a game I already had. Called Marble It Up. We got a code for this one way long time ago, back when the Switch first came out. I did a video of it then, but they've just recently added in brand new levels, brand new marbles to collect, and the Ultra upgrade, if you have the original game, is absolutely free. And I didn't realize that until I went and saw it on the eShop. I was like, why is this free? Oh, because I already had the other game. So if you've bought Marble It Up in the past, if you're a fan of Marble Madness or even Monkey Ball, this is a fun game. Just speed running challenges, trying to get through the level, unlock stuff. It's really pretty good. One of the other main games I've been playing that a video will be coming out on our channel, I think tomorrow, Justin, right?
Yeah, I sorry, I didn't realize you had uploaded that. So I've got scheduled for tomorrow. Yeah.
So it's a brand new game that came out today called Curse Crackers, For Whom the Bell Tolls.
And cracks me up.
I know it's very weird, but y'all, this is like a mix of Shantae and Shovel Knight and Game Boy Color era platformers. You play as a clown named Belle, who has this little weird bird that follows her around, who looks like a bell that's named Chime. And you can use it to attack. But the main thing is it's a very, I would almost call it like a speedrunner-esque friendly game, because your main attacks are to stomp on enemies. But when you do that, it gives your character this vault ability that vaults, you can use to jump from enemy to enemy. And so there's lots of that going on There's collectibles in each level. The soundtrack is amazing. The pixel art just looks really cool too. And so it's very solid. Feels very good. The controls are awesome. But it's also in that sense, it's very precise. Like the hitboxes on the enemies are very precise. You can't like really fudge on it, and I don't know, you'll figure it out when you see the playthrough or play it. But it's out. It's colorful. I think it's I'm afraid it's going to be a game that a lot of people overlook because they're going to look at it and go, what is that? But it's really good. Like when we got the code and I watched the video, I was like, this is 100% absolutely for me. Yes. So go check that out. It's called Curse Crackers for Whom the Bell Tolls. And this will be Toils for Whom the Bell Toils. And it will be out on our channel tomorrow. One last game that I want to mention is a game I've already been playing. It's already been out, but there's a reason to go back to it, and that is AEW Fight Forever. Got an update today on the heading toward the largest event in pro wrestling history this weekend when AEW holds All In, their All In pay-per-view at Wembley Stadium, where they have sold over 80,000 tickets. They're over 80,000 people are going to come and watch this show. I am stinking excited for it. But AEW has done this event before at some of their pay-per-views. They do a couple kind of matches like this. One of them is I want to call it like Coliseum Chaos or something like that, or Coliseum Carnage. But it's basically like it's a 5-on-5 tag team match where there's no tagging, and they just beat the ever-loving crap out of each other across the arena. They're in the crowd. They're jumping off stuff. They're doing all this. The original version of this was called Stadium Stampede, which was meant to be held in like a giant football stadium, and they just brawl all over this. And that mode has now come to AEW, and this is insanity, okay? As a 30-player battle royale wrestling match in a stadium. And it is absolutely the best kind of video game insanity. You jump in, you play your character. You can start down on the grass, on the turf, or you could start like in the vendor area or other places in the arena. And the whole job is, or your whole, mission is be the last one standing. And you do that by punching and kicking and slamming people. You can throw them off the top of stuff. You can hit them with weapons. There's a golf cart that you can run over people with. There's horses. Y'all, there's no way to describe this, but it's so much fun. Like I was like, I didn't know how they could pull this off, but they did it. And it's so worth going and checking it out. If you have the game, unfortunately, this did not come with the second round of DLC characters. Who knows where they are? That's a gripe. Okay. Like they got some feedback on this game and they said, that they're considering working on issues. But also behind the scenes, a little pullback of the curtain is that this game went massively over budget before it was released, and it hasn't really sold well because people got it, they played it like 2 weeks, and then they put it on the shelf, and that kind of got around with some of the bare bones modes that they have. But if you're still, I go back to what I said originally, if you're a fan of the old school N64 wrestling game days, WCW, NWO, No Mercy, WrestleMania 2000, No Mercy, then there's a lot here for you. I admit it's not as robust as those, but it takes you back to the glory days of those wrestling games. And I still highly recommend it. Okay. So I'll be jumping in. I played 2 rounds of it before we go or before we went on air. I'm going to be playing more of it before I go home tonight because it's addicting to be running around. You never know what you're going to run into. Like, am I going to run into a gang of 5 people beating the crap out of each other here? And, so your whole goal is like knocking people out.
Is there an opportunity? Because I think if you're going to play it tonight after the podcast, is there an opportunity for you to capture that and upload it? Because I think that'd be interesting for people to
Yeah,
understand.
absolutely. Yeah,
that's a great. That might be a great video for people to catch it.
Yeah, I would be more than happy to do it.
Awesome.
So yeah, and Tim and I were talking about the possibility of doing something with it during our Extra Life campaign this year, maybe getting a bunch of people who have it to jump in and do, like, maybe if they allow a private version of it. And, But I don't think they do yet. But that might be coming where you could kind of set up your own Stadium Stampede. But yeah, that would be fun to include maybe some other shows who have that. But I absolutely think that if you haven't picked this game up yet, I think that it will probably be on sale, like Black Friday. But that's still a little too late for Extra Life. But you can dive all in. You can get the Elite Edition, which gives you all the DLC, including this. But everybody got that, so you don't have to buy the Elite Edition to get this. So Stadium Stampede mode's where it's at. I love it. That's what we've been playing. Let's turn on the community spotlights.
All right. First, a shout out to everybody who stopped by today in our chats while we've been recording. I think we've had a pretty high number of people hanging out today.
Yeah, I saw 16 just on Twitch alone at one point. So
yeah, it's been fantastic. Yes, we got IDK stopped by, AOK, BB Cerveza, Commander Root, Duran the Critic, Drape Snat, FSL Gamer Night,
Ink Goblin.
Yes. Sean Capri stopped by. I missed that one. Spoofo, the Ultimate Girl Gamer, and Ouija 77, Kata, Miz. So yeah, there's lots of names through here that's popping in. Hambone. I saw that name pop up. Dorian the Critic. So I think I don't get to see everybody who's on YouTube on the Twitch side, but yeah, thank you everybody who stopped by. And if I missed your name, I apologize, but thank you so much for stopping by and visiting. Again, just you being able to come by and support us always helps out and gives us a boost of confidence. All right, questions from the Discord. First comes up from Mecca. So here's my question for the show. Recently on Kit and Krista's podcast, they talked about how every AAA game is just nothing but a huge open world, and how some reviewers even say if it's not an open world game to get lost in for hours and hours, it's not worth your money. Are you dads burned out on open world games? Do you feel the same way they do? And why is everyone so obsessed with the open world in their games?
Yes, I'm tired of it. Two things in video games right now that I'm super tired of is open world and crafting. Everything has to have crafting. I don't care. I don't want to make it. Just let me play my game. Let me go from point A to point B. And, this argument is going to come back up. And here's why it's going to come back up. Because as soon as Mario Wonder comes out, you know what? People are going to go, it shouldn't have been $60. It shouldn't have been $60. Yes, it should have, because tons of people worked on that game, and they want their families to eat, and they want to be able to live and have air conditioning and electricity and different things like that. So you got to pay people, for them to make games. So I don't know. Like, I think this is why I gravitate more toward indie games right now, and have for years, is that there's less open world there.
Yeah, just because the 150-hour games are $70 doesn't mean that 10 or 15-hour games can't be 60. It's still, there's still effort, and there's a lot more effort into this game than any of the last new Mario games.
Mm-hmm.
I think the challenge right now is that everyone is competing for your dollar, and so when you talk about like, it's a 150-hour open world, you begin to do the math, right? You begin to do the value proposition. And, when, again, you are not just competing for money, you are also competing for time. what you want to provide to your customer is the best value for their dollar, essentially, right? To be able to make that equation and to be able to separate it. So it sort of becomes like an open world arms race to find this thing. And I think, and to justify costs, right? So to Marty's point, we're going to charge $65 or $60, $70 because it's 150 hours. Right. And so I think when you begin to do that, you begin to create expectations and connotations around it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really become this like, hey, if you can't offer this, then someone else can, and I will go there. And that's the problem that I think the AAA games have really gotten themselves into lately. I will tell you as a, and I think as a dad, as a parent, as someone whose time is limited, those games for me are like that. I just can't, right? Like that just seems one of the reasons I love Disney's Illusion Island. It's an 8-hour game. It's an 8-hour game. Perfect. That's easy to consume, right? One of the reasons that it took me less than a week to consume it, man, and I love that. There was a completion. I knew where I was. It wasn't overly complex or difficult. Same with Pikmin 4. Yes, that took me a month, but that was a 40-hour game, right? So scale. So I think that I'm at a point in my life that I sort of enjoy a tight, if you can tell me a good story, have great gameplay mechanics, right? Have me hooked, enjoyable characters, great music, and it is 10 to 12 hours, you got me. Sold. Love all of those things. And when I think of all the games that I have completed in the last several years, surprise, surprise, most of them are not open world games. They are mostly closed systems. I think, Metroid Dread, great example, right? As a matter of fact, as Sea of Stars coming up, and I keep coming back to this, I was actually very tempted to actually send a note to the development team and be like, just for my own curiosity, how long is this game? Right? Because time matters, and time and money matters. And, it's funny, like people are so hyped for Starfield and it looks tremendous. That game gives me anxiety.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think it's fantastic. I think it's fantastic that people can get lost in that world. I love that. Just like getting lost in something like a Tears of the Kingdom. But like I've been playing that game since Tears of the Kingdom since May, and I'm 45 hours into it, and I'm not anywhere near done. But it is again value proposition. And so I sort of look forward to games where I know, hey, this is a tight 12 hours. Man, that's awesome. That sounds great. Do that thing well, right?
Like
Do that well.
The timer when I finished my Final Fantasy IV run, just over 18 hours.
Yeah.
So that, of course, that doesn't count the times I died and had to play certain areas over.
And
so total was still under 20 hours.
And we used to look at games like that and go, "God, this game is huge."
Because you're comparing it against Donkey Kong that has 4 screens that you can get through in 5 minutes.
Well, that's because too the games that had longevity back in the Super Nintendo era were games that gave you a multiplayer or a local couch co-op experience. Like, how many hours did I put into Bomberman on the SNES? How many hours did I put into Mortal Kombat 2, where my friend and I sat and played match after match after match after match? Those were the games with longevity back then, And I think that sometimes it's not so much with open world games anymore. I don't think it's so much about, is this fun? I think it's, let's just see how big we can make it. Let's just see let's just see how big we can make the map and see what people say.
Yeah, they want to make big games to have you not buy other games because you're too busy playing this one.
That's exactly it, right? Like that's 100%. It's all competing for time and money. Those are the two things that any company wants of your resources. Do not kid yourself, right? If they are making a 150-hour game, it is not because they love you. It is because there is a value proposition there.
They don't love
right?
me.
I normally can only handle 1, maybe 2 100-hour game a year. And, we've already had it with Tears of the Kingdom. I want to replay Dragon Quest XI. I know Persona 4 Reload's coming next year. Those are all 100-hour games, and I'm like, I did preload Starfield just because I'm curious. I know I'm not going to play more than like 5 hours of it, but it's no additional cost to me, so why not?
But then that's such a great example of FOMO, right? There's so much heat around Starfield right now, like so much heat, and you get caught in that. You just like Tears of the Kingdom, when everybody was having that conversation, Starfield is positioning itself again as, and so a bunch of these open world games like that become water cooler moments. And so a company, if they do it well, owns that dialogue, owns that space for the conversation, the social media space for however long, which creates more eyes on games, right? Which creates more talk about, creates more chatter. How many TikToks, Instagram videos did you see on Tears of the Kingdom about people building mechs and all those things? And it just you're in that, like you're just drinking the Kool-Aid for weeks, and you're more in it. Now you
saw someone literally made a flying dragon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just saw that actually a couple ago when I was scrolling through. And so like it's those type of things that open world games can create, those type of unique experiences that creates water cooler moments that are social media conversations that then generates more buzz, more people, more clicks, more engagement, more all of those things, as opposed to I got this game, I finished level 1, I finished level 2, I finished level 3, I'm done. Did you have that same experience? Why, yes, you did, right? You did, because that's how this maps out, right? Whereas opposed to like people are in Starfield, they're going to be, here's what the inside of my ship looks like. Here's what the outside of my ship looks like. Here's my costume. Here's all of those components become part of a water cooler moment that is hard to not be a part of. And people want, as social communities, to be a part of things and have those conversations. So of course, we're going to keep going bigger and bigger and bigger to add more into the sandbox to create more of these moments so that we add more value and time stuff.
I
so
think the
I'm
biggest
soapbox.
I think the biggest one is the Genshin Impact, because of they keep building on that world. Like the size of the first couple worlds was probably as big as Breath of the Wild, but they keep adding to the world. And I have a friend who plays it a lot and tells me about it all the time. It's just like, I wish I had the time because I could play with him. My daughter played the game too. There's just so much time, and then they add more, and then you're like, okay, now I can go get these characters and then collect these items to build on that character through the worlds.
It's like trying to get into Final Fantasy 14 or Dragon Quest 10. And now there's just so much content out there that it's
right.
You're already way behind.
Well, and that's it too. My friend is like, that's the only game he's been playing. He's like, I'm in concentrating on this. I don't need anything else. So that's where he's been putting his time in.
Is being competed against everything.
Yeah.
Right. Not only video games, but let's include what's streaming on Disney Plus, or going to see a movie, keeping up with that, being a good father, being a good husband, being a good friend. Like all of these things compete for that space.
Yep.
And so what you need to find is what content fits in your life that does not feel like a burden or a chore or a weight. Maybe it's also the right level of escapism. Who knows? Right. But I think I don't know. We're like simply like what you like. And that's okay.
Yeah, right. Do something different too, I guess, too, is where we're getting at here, right? Is like, yeah, there's a lot more developers making open world games, but what are you doing different than the last one? You know, how can you make it better? What is going to make it interesting for me? Like, even for me, Starfield is like, oh, this is a bigger version of No Man's Sky to me, you know? So, but it's by Bethesda, so it's going to have those things I have loved from Bethesda games, like
bugs.
Yes.
Touché.
So, yeah, so it's like all those games coming together in space.
It's almost like the AAA game, the open world, whatever, is the path of least resistance right now, right? You know, it's like, yeah, it takes so much more dev time to make this massive open world game, but like nobody wants to take the risk of making that, what Justin talked about, that tight, concise, really well done 12 to 15 hour experience that when it's done, it's done. Because you
like
either
Arkham Asylum, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
That one's a tight 10-hour game.
Yeah, like you either get If you do that, you either get the blowback from people who say it's not worth the money, or you run the risk of not being the water cooler conversation for long. But like, I'm at a point where like, who's still talking about Tears of the Kingdom? Not very many people, right? So and like I've done 2 out of the 4 regional phenomenon. I get it. Like I'm going at a snail's pace, but I play that game and I get overwhelmed. So what for people like me, which I'm sure I'm not the only one, like how many people legitimately picked this game up and finished it?
Yeah, like
right?
for
What's
me,
the percentage?
Yeah, for me right now, and I've said it before, this is my sort of in-betweener game. This is I'm savoring something, I'm finishing it, and then I'm gonna go, once I finish Sea of Stars, it'll be my game before Mario Wonder, probably, right? That I'll play for a couple of weeks and then finish that. I think
I did roll credits. I finished a story, but I didn't finish everything, and I probably will never go back and finish everything.
I think the other problem with the sort of like the AAA space in regards to the open world is there will become a tipping point, and this bubble is going to pop.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to think the amount of time, energy, the more development time, energy costs you sink into something, you need that money back, right? It is a lost investment. So you're like, every time they're doing it, they're sort of betting big, right? And the reality is they are going to that you are betting big with people's lives, essentially, in regards to their careers, and hoping. And so eventually someone's gonna be like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing these big open worlds anymore. I'm done. And so the sales
Marvel's
are not
Avengers.
or sales numbers are not going to reflect. And then all of a sudden the bubble pops, and all of a sudden you're like, this studio had to shut down because we bet big and we lost big. And that's a challenge. I think it's interesting. Like if you think of like the big open world games, I think you always instantly think of something like Assassin's Creed. Interestingly enough, the Mirage is coming out and they're like, no, it's like a 25-hour game, contained. It's not like Valhalla, which is like 150 hours. So interesting enough, there is some kind of learning that's occurring in some of those spaces, because here's the reality: the smaller the game, they can probably get it out potentially quicker, right? And so you can kind of like fuel those other things. Again, how long has Starfield been in development for?
Yes.
Right, like nearly a decade. Am I right? I pretty much think it is. And it's coming out. And so guess what? How like you've got to be big.
Skyrim is almost 12 years old.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Great conversation there, gentlemen. And we had some comments in our chat as well, such as Dorian, the critic, said, yes, for real, almost everything is now crafting. So going along with Marty said there. BB Cerveza says, I'm sick of the over-the-top combos on fighting games. I miss the simpler days of Street Fighter, MK1 and 2. And then Nintendaddy, that's Casey there, said, No Man's Skyrim. And BB says he's off to work, so he's going to catch a replay of this later. But yes, thanks for all the comments on that. Before we move on to the next question, Mecca had a question for Jesse real quick. Jesse, Square announced last week that they're not interested in AA games and will focus on their AAA games. Does that mean we won't see games like Octopath Traveler or Live Alive from them again?
If it sounds like it, and if that's the case, they're probably not going to get any more of my money, because I don't want what their idea of a AAA game is. I want the Live Alives. And the smaller, as we talked about, the smaller games that, 10, 20 hours.
This is called mitigating risk. That's what they're doing, because their sales numbers weren't as good and they weren't getting what they wanted. So why invest the time and money there?
So they're doubling down on what isn't selling.
Yep. Mitigate risk, right? Sell what sells and don't sell what doesn't sell. Stop doing that.
Yeah,
so your anticipation,
but what they're doing
your hope
isn't
for
selling either.
2D HD Chrono Cross?
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my Dragon Quest 3.
Yeah. But the thing about that is that the pixel remasters weren't what probably was called a AAA experience for them, but they sold amazingly. So where is this coming from? What loss?
Well, we're assuming they're qualifying AA as Octo and
but also too, like, what lost the money the most over the past has been Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
And that was certifiably a AAA experience.
I wonder though too if so Square Enix wants to concentrate on AAA games. Fine, they're going to do that. Why can't maybe they go with third parties to develop for them on some of their other IP?
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe that is another route they could go.
Well, Square has been doing some things in their portfolio over the last 6 to 12 months that sort of indicates that they're trying to prepare themselves for a acquisition, as in making themselves look tangible for an acquisition. So, I think you look at the selling off the Square Eidos not too long ago, Eidos Montreal, right? They have done some trimming or some pruning, if you would, to make themselves prepare. And this may be one of their stances in regards to just bolstering their portfolio and bolstering their revenue to make themselves look a much more pleasable acquisition. And of course, the rumor's always been that PlayStation would be propped for making that acquisition. So.
Right.
Hambone says Final Fantasy is AAA franchise for sure. And I said, yeah, but their current Final Fantasy is not what I want to play. I want to play 6, not 16.
Yeah, but 16 did review quite well and has had really good sales, right? So you can't be upset about that. It looks like Nindaddy is saying that Octopath Traveler was 1 million units sold, right? So yeah. What do you got next, Tim?
Next question, BB Cerveza asks, NINDADS, let's hear your best dad joke. Bonus points if it's video game related.
That where we go back to when I said that he didn't stop when he was ahead.
Right. I got something to warm you guys up. All right. So you ready? I'm sure you guys are thinking of it. So here's a couple. Did you hear Mario and Peach broke up? Peach says they weren't on the same level.
I got it.
Happens.
Okay.
You know why Donkey Kong wears a tie, right? Because he's got monkey business to do later.
Nice. My wife says that I should do lunges to stay more in shape. They would be a big step forward.
I hate how people react when they play games and get told they can't go any further. It's like they think it's the end of the world.
Sing in the shower is fun until you get soap in the mouth. Then it's a soap opera.
You guys have heard about that new pirate corn, right? It's about $1 an ear.
Expensive.
Have you heard about the device that automatically swaps out games for you? It's a game changer.
Oh my gosh.
How do you follow Will Smith in the snow? You follow the Fresh Prince.
What do Americans do after winning the World Cup?
We don't know.
They turn off the PlayStation.
Oh,
there you go, Mecca. Bum. There's some dad jokes for you, or beer Cerveza. Take those as you will.
I love it.
All right. So Blanca asks, I just rewatched the Nolan Batman trilogy with my 16-year-old. It was his first time. He loved it. My question for the dads tonight is, who's your favorite character or villain in the trilogy, and which is your favorite movie from that trilogy?
Oh, wow.
Heath Ledger.
It's it's the easy version, right? Like that's easy mode. Like I had to think about this because I default to Heath Ledger. Like I'm like, it's obviously the Joker, right? But the constant of those 3 movies is Alfred. Yeah. I love Michael Caine as Alfred. He's so good.
Point. Yes.
So good. And just when I think of that character now, that's all I can picture is Michael Caine. But I love Bane. I know a lot of people didn't like that was
my pick. Like Bane.
Yes. Oh, your hombre, gratefully accepted.
I'm just gonna say Anne Hathaway as Catwoman.
There you
There
go.
you go.
That's all.
That's all we needed.
I just had to do a quick image search.
All right, Ebicel asks, why can't I play WrestleQuest on my Pixel 6? So
Because you
that's
have an Android. Move on, you fool.
Because
So-
Android sucks. So that's why. Anyway.
Pixel 6 is one generation behind. I have my foldable phones you cannot play this game on foldable phones. I found out as well. So my nice fancy phone, I can't play it on either. But I will say this. I found out through Twitter, and yes, I said Twitter. Ian's going to have to pay me money to say X if he wants me to say X. But anyway, Skybound Games have their devs looking into the matter is what I found out on X. So in regards to the Android phones not being compatible with this game. So
That check clear already?
shout out for Skybound Games. Yeah, did I say X?
You said X.
Twitter X. How about Twitter X?
X gonna give it to you.
All right. And Ebicel also asks, would you buy these for Halloween? So, gentlemen, you can see this in our notes. Is Costco Halloween 3-foot pair of animated banjo skeletons with lights and sounds. Would you buy this for your Halloween? Decorate your house.
No,
Yes.
they're creepy.
Yes,
I would not, but I know
buy
people
this.
who would.
I would totally buy this. Banjo skeletons are totally on theme with what we're doing. We don't do Halloween decorations, but if we did, we would actually have to buy the 12-foot tall Harry Potter Hogwarts castle inflatable with
There you
light
go.
and sound that
Yes.
my daughter found. And also that have you guys seen the 15-foot tall plastic skeletons?
Yes.
Yeah, there's one like a mile away from my house. Like
I
think
love
We
them.
have
They're-
a couple houses near us that use those year round and
Yeah.
decorate to the holiday on that
Yeah.
skeleton.
That's fantastic. Like, you know what I want to do is I just want to find a house with a window that's the right size, like the right height, and just one day just put it outside there and wait. Just like looking right in the window.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be great.
cool. Those are good. Those are good.
All right. Koopa Kid 80, question for the dads. Pumpkin spice products are coming out on store shelves, yay or nay?
Nope.
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 I like in the form of a cake. Other than that, no.
Yeah.
Pumpkin pie?
So
That's it.
I don't do a bunch of pumpkin stuff either, but every
Pumpkin
now
pie
and then
with
I'll grab something pumpkin.
Pumpkin pie. Thanksgiving, early October, the Canadian proper way of doing it, and with some whipped cream on it. You're good.
with a liberal, generous serving of whipped cream. Like you surround the
whip-
pie with the whipped cream.
Costco. Costco has very good pumpkin pie.
So we do something that's a little bit different. It's a weird name. You could call it a upside down cake, but we call it a pumpkin dump cake because like you dump it out of the dish, right? So you build it backwards. So the pumpkin on the bottom, then like a layer of like chopped pecans or
Mhm.
something like that, or walnuts. I can't remember what type of thing you put in there, and then you cover that with a cake mix
Mm.
and butter, and you bake it.
Yeah,
And then you
cupcake,
flip that joker over and you put some whipped cream on it. That is magic. And that's my request at Thanksgiving every year. As long as somebody makes a dump cake, we're good.
I'm going to go on a slight rant here. Tim Hortons, I'm looking right at you. I am disappointed in you. You know what you have done. You see Starbucks over there making some bank on this whole pumpkin spice latte moments. You're all like, let's cash in on this, because I drove up to Tim Hortons today, and you know what's flipping through the virtual menu board? Look, it's pumpkin spice time. It is the end of August still, you sick sons of B.
Hey,
there is none of that.
No,
And
Starbucks started today too.
Yeah.
Or
No,
this
Tim
week.
Hortons, you're better than this. I am disappointed and I am upset. And they've got 4 or 5 different pumpkin spice drinks. They've got like, no. Bad Tim Hortons. Bad.
All right, Marty. Best Mega Man like games on Switch.
Ooh.
Koopa Kid's asking because he says he's thinking about picking or downloading 20XX, but I'm looking for more suggestions.
Yeah, so 20XX is a fantastic suggestion. Flint Hook is an often overlooked roguelike Mega Man. In fact, it's very close to Mega Man. I really I love Flint Hook. The other one that I would recommend is 30XX, which is coming out sometime eventually after they get their snafu with Nintendo's.
You want to go play it at PAX? I got an invite for it.
I would. Well,
I'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, is that the one that was supposed? It was supposed to release, but they didn't get their certification through first?
That is correct.
Yep, their certification failed. I would play it at PAX if I'd been invited and had my way paid for too. But
there you
are. There's another one, and I'm gonna take a minute to look this up on my Switch. But I did a video of it, and it's on our channel. It's basically a 3D Mega Man X.
Oh yeah.
And I cannot right now remember the name of it, but if I go to my games, I know that I will. Shoot. What is the name of this game? The bad thing is that somebody takes. Oh, here it is. Proto Droid Delta.
Yeah, that's right.
Proto Droid Delta. I really thought that was a lot of fun. Yeah, Proto Droid Delta. It's those are the best so far that I have found, and as well the excellent Mega Man 11. That if you haven't played it, you need to play. It's really good, and the Mega Man collection. So yeah, all of those games are fine. Oh. Gravity Circuit and Bat Boy. All Mega Man inspired, all wonderful.
There you go. Thank you, Koopa Kid, for those questions. And thank you all for all your questions and those for listening and chatting about the answers as well. If you have anything that you want to ask, you can always hit us up in our socials for any questions. But again, if you're in our Discord, we have a Ask the Dads channel that you can pop your questions in as well. That's it for the questions.
Yep. And that's it for the show. So we want to thank you for hanging out with us for episode 441 of Nintendo Dads. And also want to say a huge thanks to our Patreon producers, Dave Ernsberger, RJ Kern, Jacqueline Amira, David White, and our other 90-plus patrons and Twitch Prime subscribers who keep the lights on over here. In fact, 16 Twitch Prime subscribers, over 1,400 Twitch followers, and nearing 6,900 YouTube subscribers. We're just about 11 or so away from that as well. So thank you, everyone. Even if you're just a casual listener of the show and you don't support us on any of those places, know that we love you and we're so thankful for you. You can go over to nintendodads.org and check out our website where there's Spotify podcast feeds of our show, all of our latest YouTube videos and tweets, our social media, Patreon, Extra Life pages, and merch featuring our new mascot, the Mushroom. And you know what, Tim? We need a name for the Mushroom. We got to figure it out. So let's do that. Let's somebody send us in some names. We'll do that. You can contact us in most places.
Fun guy.
Oh, just type in Nintendo Dads or email us at nintendodads@gmail.com or call in and leave a voicemail at 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. Don't forget to check out our sponsor, Manscaped, over at manscaped.com, where you can get 20% off your order and free shipping with the code NINDADS. That's NINDADS. Big thanks to OC Remix for the music you've heard throughout the show. And remember, wherever you download us from your podcast catcher or app of choice, go on there, leave us a 5-star review. And give us a comment because it will be awesome and people will know all about the Nintendo Dads cause and you'll just push us on up the charts. It'll be great. So thanks for hanging out for episode 441 for me, for Justin, for Jesse, for Tim, and Barricade. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.
Soundwave superior, Constructicons inferior.